Man, that was an exciting game. Hold up. Why does it have you? I don't know if you could, are you muted again, Severe? I think you're muted. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, that's weird. That's crazy. They got y'all ass muted. All right. Hey man, we gonna have a fun show with this, man. It's a post-game reaction. Round the shield. We gonna get it going in a second. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Don't forget to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Raiders! 2 years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back. We back for another edition of Around the Shield. This time around, man, it's a post-game reaction. Obviously, everybody's pretty much fresh from that preseason game between the Raiders and Texans, man. At the end of the day, like, we gonna get into it. We're gonna have a lot to talk about, obviously. with the game just happening. I think it kind of showed us. For me, it showed me, and I obviously I haven't really spoken too much to Severe, so we're gonna have a live reaction to the game. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Severe, man, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing much, man. Watching this preseason game, man. It's yeah, man. It's a lot to talk about, man. A lot to talk about.
Salute to everybody pulling up. The night crew in the building. Mudo over Miami was good. Appreciate you coming through. You can. Everything y'all said pre-draft is coming true. It's going to be a long season, boys. Yeah. And that's what it kind of confirmed. It because I think people, they get excited about the offseason in terms of like the moves that happen and stuff like that. Now it's still going to be an intriguing season in terms of like, okay, I'm going to be looking forward to watching certain games, but it's going to be for a different reason. I don't know how competitive it's going to be, but I want to see certain players, how like they're going to look on this team in terms of, you got guys like Mike Washington on the team who had a pretty good preseason game, or you got the run game. How's that going to look? How's Kubiak's offense going to look in the silver and black? Then you got certain players on the defense. Are they going to how's that going to look? I don't know how competitive it's going to be, especially because the Houston Texans this week was a huge barometer test. Like it was like to let you know exactly where the Raiders are from the joint practice and this preseason game. I know everybody was like, oh, preseason left and right. It's just preseason. But at the end of the day, what do we know? What did we figure out? We figured out that the Raiders are just not there yet. You know what I mean? The Texans are going to be they look like one of the best teams in the NFL. Not because of what we've seen, but this is what they've kind of developed into the last few years. Now heading into this year, they're going to have, to me, it looks like they're going to probably have one of the best defenses in the NFL. That's going to continue. CJ Stroud looks like, he's going to have a little bit more help this year, from the offensive line and running the football, and they're going to find ways to protect him, which you should, right? You should have an offensive line. You should have a run game, protect him. I think the Raiders could possibly have that from Mendoza, but I think the one thing that's going to mess it up is the defense. And we'll get it in terms of like, if the Raiders can't stop nobody, that's going to put them in obvious passing situations, which means it's going to take away the run game to a certain extent. And you can see how that can hurt them in the long run. And they're going to have to figure this out between now and the start of the season, if they can pick up anybody to beef up the interior line, which they should have done. But, they obviously went with the youth movement, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up. TK in the building was good. Salute 831, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Franklin in the building was good. Like I said, make sure to clock in. We're going live on both our channels. Make sure to clock in.
Von Easton with the comment of the night right there. That's
Rundown, man. We got to get you on here, Rundown. Was good. Bram in the building. You said who had the comment of the night?
Devon Easton. Right above Franklin Skinner.
Oh, he said Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know. When I just watching the Texans game, watching this Texans game against the Raiders, it just puts it in perspective that this is going to be one of those years where I'm not going to be looking at the win-loss column. And we even said, like, it was funny. We even recently had the conversation and we said, like, hey, you know what? Hey, if they can finish with top 10 pick, top 5 pick, that would be it. I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna get a player that's gonna help this team, and that's what the Raiders need. They need, whether that's on the wide receiver, because look, the wide receivers is terrible, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like it's just bad. This is bad, and I haven't really talked about it too. I haven't said it enough because that's my time to talk about it was literally the beginning of last year. I'm like, man, I kind of went on my rants, but now I've kind of accepted it. I'm like, it is what it is, I'm just kind of focused on like how Kubiak can find a creatively, use Brock Bowers as the number one, because because we know he's a great offensive minded coach, and he's gonna find a way to like put out an offense that's gonna be effective. But man, when you don't got guys out there that can get open on the outside, it's because teams are gonna you then become predictable, and they're gonna be. I mean, I know Brock is supposed to be the guy that's probably gonna maybe force teams to like, all right, back up a little bit possibly, but we'll see how it shakes out. But this game to me, like, outside of like, I know that they came back and won. It doesn't really, I don't really care. I mean, it didn't really matter to me. For me, it was like, thank you, AOC, man. You increase your trade value. That's what that did. He increased his trade value.
I don't think we can trade him, to be honest with you.
Why do you say that?
Because Kirk Cousins has a history of injury, and Fernando Mendoza is an up and down player as well. So, and he can, and the way he was taking hits unnecessarily so at sometimes, he can end up hurt too. So you got an oft injured quarterback that's starting, a rookie that's taking unnecessary hits and likes to run with the football, so you're going to probably need a third quarterback. And Jacob Clark has literally not thrown a single pass in the entire offseason, as far as I know. So they're going to probably need 3 quarterbacks. So unless they plan on bringing in another guy and parking him on the practice squad, but they didn't really get any young guys of note. So my assumption is they're carrying 3.
I hear you, but I just don't want to waste a developmental year like this. It's just so obvious that it's going to be what it is, but I understand where you stand on Mendoza. You just don't want to throw him out there and you don't want to get him killed. And I don't want him to.
No. I think if Kirk Cousins goes down, it'll be Mendoza. But my point is that Mendoza is still a risky proposition because he takes unnecessary. He's been taking unnecessary hits in preseason games. So, like we.
I mean,
come on, dog.
I'm trying
come on, bro. You're not about to do this, man. Don't act like you don't see it, dog.
In the pocket, because I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of like this game. I'm thinking about this game.
This game, yeah, he took multiple hits in this game
in the pocket. But is that on him, or is that
not on him? But my point is that he's going to take damage. He's going to take damage.
See, hey man, he's 6'5", 230, man. Like that's why you draft him number 1, man. You get.
Look, 6'5", 230. Look, but
just saying,
your joints is made out of the same material. It's out of the same material. Your ankle bones is made out of the same. So that extra that might protect from like soft tissue injuries and stuff like that. But you can still get a knee pop, an ankle pop, anything like that. So,
but how do you? But how are you putting it on Mendoza that he's taking as? I can see like maybe
preseason game 1 he took unnecessary hits. He took multiple unnecessary hits. This week he didn't take as many, but that's because there weren't as many like running opportunities for him.
Right. So if you're talking about preseason game 1, from now, like I don't, because I'm basing it off this game. But if you're talking about the totality of like, okay, last week. It was like, all right, yeah. He would have to keep that in mind. He got to be coached up, you know what I mean? And it seemed like, I mean, was there an opportunity for the run? I can't,
that's my point. Like, I don't think there was any opportunity for him to run today. So that's why today he didn't take any hits. But like he's shown in the past when he has run, he's not getting down. He's taking hits unnecessarily so. And during the season, do you think he's going, like this, when the opportunity presents himself, I think the same thing is going to happen. So that's why I think we're going to have to carry 3.
Yeah. No, for me, I just think Mendoza, I think it's clear. It's a clear developmental year. I think hopefully, Raider Nation kind of gets the point across to them, you know what I mean? In terms of what this year is going to be, we just played a great team. In joint practice, they played them in this preseason game. I know it's just preseason, but just going off what was said in that joint practice, and obviously what happened today, and they had the starters out there too. They had like the first series, I believe. They had CJ Stroud. They had
on offense.
But even on defense,
and not even all the starters, because I don't think Nico was out there. And like most of their starters weren't out there. David Montgomery wasn't out there.
The first team offensive line was there. CJ Stroud was there. Woody Marks was there. And guess what? The Raiders.
Woody Marks not the starter.
Montgomery. But
Exactly.
But
He wasn't out there. Nico wasn't out there. Jalen Noel was out. Most of the only starters was out there was the offensive line, CJ Stroud.
But either way, like they put out a big portion of their starters on the offensive series just to get like a, I guess,
The offensive line is CJ.
to get some reps. But I thought the Raiders should have had the first team defense out there. If they were going to do that, you know what I mean?
My opinion. I mean, they should have been out there regardless. I don't care who Houston was putting out there. The Raiders' first team defense needed to be out there regardless.
And first team offense.
Yeah,
like,
I understand them not wanting
with Fernando out there with the first team. Like, might as well. Like, if you want to, I don't know. I just thought like because it was funny because I seen something that said that I think it was one of the beat reporters for the Texans basically announced and said, oh, they're not gonna put out starters. The Texans are not gonna put any starters out on Thursday. Boom, game comes. CJ Stroud's out there, and I think Clint kind of went with that. He was like, oh well, they're not gonna play with any starters, but it's still like the Raiders need reps.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They need the reps. They need to like show something because, not gonna lie, like Rob Leonard is gonna be the scapegoat. He's gonna be the scapegoat. If this defense is terrible all season long, bro, all season long, he's gonna be the scapegoat. Like easy, they're gonna point the finger at him, and especially if any player, especially if there's no improvement within the team throughout the season, like in terms of like player development. Like if you're seeing guys regress, you're not getting any. You're a D-line coach and you're not getting any pressure. They're gonna point to that, and once the season ends, because I'm just looking, moving. I'm kind of going all the way to the end of the season. Once the season ends, that's gonna be the talk. How they're gonna improve the defense, and then and I'm sure whoever the decision makers are for that for the Raiders, they got the Tom Brady's, the Spytechs, and the Clint Kubiaks. They're gonna be like, hey, old boy is available, right? Jim Shorts is available, or an established vet. I'm telling you, the Raiders are not gonna pass up that opportunity, especially.
Oh, sure.
Come on, like Rob Leonard. Hey, shouts out to him. Hopefully he has much success this season. But if they can't stop the run, bro, it is. You know how that goes, man. You know the story of that.
Yeah, spooky. It's spooky. But I mean, you saw a little bit of improvements today in some areas. Today. I think Stooks. You saw Stooks. He played a much better game. Our young guys still playing tough. I mean, Patrick Johnson, at this point, bro, he looks way better than Kieran Crawford. And Kieran Crawford was out there, so it's not like Kieran Crawford didn't get any run. So Patrick Johnson, he's looked good, pretty good 2 weeks in a row. Cian Sloan take a little bit of a step back, but he was still out there playing hard. McCoy looked a little bit better. He had that bad penalty. I think it was a pretty weak penalty in my opinion, but he was still out there. Masses took a little bit of a step forward today. Eichenberg took a little. He didn't look quite as bad as he did last week. So there was some improvements from last week to this week, but how that carries over into the regular season kind of remains to be seen. Still not able to really stop the run. They were able to run basically at will on us. Woody Marks was a guy who had some struggles last year running the football. He's out there looking like a Pro Bowl level running back at times.
Did he had crazy struggles? Because there was a couple games where I seen him play. He played well at times.
He had some solid games.
Yeah,
games. But part of the reason why they went out and got David Montgomery is because Woody Marks just couldn't handle the job of being a guy.
Okay. And
Joe Mixon was supposed to be the other person, but obviously whatever medical issues he's dealing with is just taking him out of football, possibly for forever. So that's why they went out and got a guy like Montgomery. So Montgomery, he's a good number 2. He's not a guy you want to be number 1.
Yeah. I mean, I think he could handle the load as far as pause if necessary. But I think he's a solid running back. I think he's a solid running back.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's a solid running back. But look, Stooks flashed. You mentioned the secondary. I think the secondary is going to just have growing pains. That's what it is. that's just really reality of the secondary. They're gonna the talent is there. It's just is them just kind of growing and getting better. Because like McCoy, I know he wasn't going up against any starters or whatever, but the coverage, he was right there. Even when players did catch any passes, like he was just right there. Stooks, I know is a guy that, like, you know, people have been asking for him to make plays. There was a few plays he made early on. Like I remember
he had a TFL.
He had a TFL. It was a third down play. Came in and kind of stick dude right before it was a third
and 9. He stuck him at 8. I want to say it was him. It might have been him and Eichenberg on that play, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and then there was like the pressure when he came on a blitz on third down.
Yeah, but I think they still got the first down on that play, if I recall correctly.
No, they didn't get the first down.
Okay, there was another play they sent him on a blitz earlier, and he I think it was against Stroud, and I think that kind of went for a big play. That was earlier in the game.
Yeah, but look, there is some, like, all right, you know, it wasn't like all bad. There was certain parts, like Mike Washington, 1A, 1B. Is it going to be a 1A, 1B situation at running back? Like, you know, I know Jensen's the number 6 overall pick. I get it. You know, he's gonna be featured, but man, you can't help but notice. And I told you, Mike Washington, and it's funny, you're the one who put me on. You're the one who's like, hey, this boy right here, man, he's explosive back. And then like I don't know what happened in the draft process. You're like, I don't know, but but I was, I said, like, if he's there in the 4th, he was there in the 4th, which I didn't think he was going to be there, but somehow, some way he got there in the 4th. Shout out to my guy Rundown. I think I was on with him and trying to remember, it was a show, and we're literally looking at who's going to be drafted in the 4th, and we're like, man, if they find a way to get an explosive running back like Mike Washington and you pair him with Genty, look, I think it's a trend around the NFL where they're pairing up not just one, but multiple running backs, because they're trying to run the football, and having depth at that position is big. So that's something that I'm excited about this season in terms of watching the run game develop and how Kubiak's going to be able to use both backs. But man, it's going to be bittersweet, because man, if we can't stop anybody, then how are you going to be able to like even keep the run game as like a valuable threat out there? Because you're going to be playing behind. Like, if you're going to keep going down, but not everybody's going to be the Texans. But I'm just being honest. Like, if the Raiders are not going to be able to like stop the run, then and stop teams from scoring, which we feel like there's going to be some growing pains early on with this defense. Like they're going to have to figure it out. And I don't know if there's going to be an answer. Is there even an answer? Is it a situation where we can pick up a player and maybe shore up whatever problems that we have in the interior defense or the interior defensive line, or is it more?
Not at this point. Like, all those players have been signed already or drafted already. I mean, like let's say there's a situation where there's a guy that's like super talented, right? Super talented interior player, probably the best interior player in college football last year. And let's just say that guy's supposed to be a first-round pick, and for some reason he's not a first-round pick, and he falls to you in the 2nd round. Maybe you should draft that guy. Maybe you should draft that guy and not trade back with the team that's one of the best defenses in the league, that's going to draft that uber talented guy that probably shouldn't have been there anyway. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what you do instead. But, you know, the Raiders elected to zig when they should have zagged, right? Caden McDonald was right there. Caden McDonald, according to some people, was the best, in my opinion, probably the best interior player in college football last year. And instead of taking him, the Raiders decided to trade with the team in their own conference, by the way, right? In their conference that they're going to eventually have to see. And the team's one weakness, if they had a weakness on defense, right? If they had one weakness on defense, it was on the interior. So the Raiders, who also had a weakness on the interior of the defensive line, instead of taking this uber talented guy who fell to the 2nd round when he shouldn't have failed that far, they traded with the team that's in their conference that's one of the best defenses and has one weakness on that defense that's up the middle. They traded with that team and let them take the player that they probably should have taken themselves.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight, but you know, at the end of the day, like, then we'd be
But it's not hindsight, but we knew the interior defense line was bad last year. So it's not like it's hindsight.
But also we also knew that safety was an issue too, as well.
But part of the reason that safety was an issue is because we were playing cover 3, purely, and teams knew it. We were playing cover 3. If you go to like a split safety look or a closed post look, you can mask some of the deficiencies that Isaiah Palomau has, but you can't mask being bad on the interior defensive line. Like, that can't be covered up through scheme for the most part, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because you know, like, part of the issue is that you got Palomau at free safety, and he doesn't have the range that you would want in a if you're going to be running cover 3 like that. But yeah, I mean, but it was still going to be a situation where not all of our needs is going to be addressed. Not all of the Raiders' needs is going to be addressed. So I hear you, but I'm like, all right, well, they probably felt like Stoops was a guy that they wanted. They had a plan for. Hopefully he continues to make plays. He can be a player on that defense. He flashed this week. And the thing is too, hey, next year could be you could tell we know who they're gonna target. But time out, Pharaoh, because going into this last draft, right, outside of quarterback, what did we need to target? You say that going into this last
draft, outside of quarterback, what did we need to target?
Wide receiver and defensive tackle.
And what rounds did we target wide receiver and defensive tackle?
The last two rounds.
Well, my God. So, you feel me? So, we don't know what the hell we gonna do, because we assumed we would do it this last draft, and we had Denzel Boston. Remember, Denzel Boston, you was one of the guys sending me videos about Denzel Boston. I was like, I like him, but you know, because I think we was thinking, but that was when we had like 16. And I was like, I don't know about there. But we was like, man, he probably not getting out of the first. So he was right there for us.
Right.
Neither one of us thought he was going to be there. I for sure didn't think Katie McDonald was going to be there for us.
Yeah.
And he was there, right? And then in the third round, we had two of my favorite sleepers who I thought would be there later. But Jacoby Lane, I thought would be there later. Ted Hurst, I thought would go earlier. I thought he would go like late second. So early third.
I'm trying to remember. I know in the second round, they traded down. How many spots did they trade down? Because usually when you trade down, that means there's multiple players that you would take at that spot, and then you would like want to get some value out of that spot because you know that you would take.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember exactly how many spots because they traded with the Texans, so it probably was. I would think it was like quite a bit. Because
let me try to see if I can look that up. But either way, yeah, it. My guy says the big guys on both lines should always be prior. Katie McDonald was almost a farmer for not picking him. Yeah,
he was. Like I said, the argument can be made he was the best interior defensive lineman last year in all of college football. Him and the other kid that's about to be the high pick this year. I forget his name.
Yeah. But either way, we're like this is kind of nitpicking a situation where like no matter what, this was still going to be a developmental year. It still was. It's just a matter of like how you wanted the Raiders address their needs and how they should attack the draft. I get it. But if we can hit on the players that we drafted, that's what really matters, and I think that's what they're counting on.
D.D. Raider, did you miss the sack that Katie McDonald had? Did you go to get a snack during that time?
That sack. Are you going to give him there was a sack? I'm not taking nothing away from him, but he had a free run at the quarterback. That's Tyree Wilson special. That was a Tyree Wilson special. And
they was hyping Tyree up last year for that. Yeah, they was hyping Tyree up every week for that.
I know, but you know.
So he got a sack. He got a sack.
He did. But for whatever, there was like some type of miscommunication. It just felt like they just let him go, and Fernando didn't have a chance. But do you think this is interesting that Clint Kubiak did not want to name Kirk Cousins the starter for week one? Like, do you take that as a sign that they're still trying to see if they can find a way to get Mendoza out there? Because why would you not just come out and say it? He came out and say in the beginning of training camp, he's like, oh, Kirk Cousins the starter. But as like training camp went on, he kind of was just bigging up all the quarterbacks, and like he didn't want to commit to one guy being above anybody else. Even when they were like, Fernando, like, will Fernando get first team reps? He was like, well, we're all trying to get everybody first team reps, all the quarterbacks first team reps. So do you see that as a sign, like, oh, okay, is there a sign that maybe Mendoza can possibly start the season week 1? I'm not saying that if you think that they should start Fernando Mendoza, do you think they are looking to do that, the Raiders?
No, because I think at this point you're getting into the area of being a coach, being a head coach, where you want to give people as much to think about as possible. So you don't want them to have their complete game plan just focus completely on Kirk Cousins. If you can add any little bit of uncertainty to that situation and make them have to game plan even a little bit for Fernando Mendoza, because if there's even a possibility that Fernando Mendoza can start and they have none of their defensive game plan geared toward what Fernando Mendoza does as a player, then that's coaching malpractice. And we know Jeff Hafley is a defensive-minded head coach. So he's going to want to make sure he crosses all of his T's and dots all of his I's. So you want to give them something a little extra to think about. But like I said, if we're judging based on what we saw the last 2 weeks, even, right? Like who was the better quarterback in week 1 of the preseason? It was Kirk Cousins. Who was a better quarterback in week 2 of the preseason? Kirk Cousins didn't have to play, and it was Kirk Cousins who came out ahead, just based on what we saw from Fernando. So, like I said, I don't think there's any realistic possibility for him to start. Is there an outside chance it happens? Yes, but I put that chance at like 9%, 10%.
Man, I was really confident in man, we should get Mendoza out there. And I still think that we should get Mendoza out there because this is developmental year. I don't want to waste this year because it is what it is. No matter what, the outcome I think is going to be the same no matter who we put out there, for different reasons. Cousins, he's at that point of his career. Mendoza is still developing. He's going to make his mistakes. He's going to go through his growing pains. He's a young quarterback. That's the hardest position, arguably the hardest position in sports. So he's going to have, no matter what. And to your point, like you said, we've gone back and forth about this, and you're like, well, he needs to do what he needs to do in order for him to get on the field. And that's determined by the coaching staff. But either way, from my point of view, he's still going to go through growing pains no matter what. Yeah. And we've seen today, like he threw it late over the middle, boom, interception, boom, took it house. How did he respond? He responded. I thought he responded well. I think there was a point where he went he hit 6 straight passes. There were some drops in there. There's some drops in there. And then you could see the issues that the Raiders have at wide receiver. They really don't have anyone out there. Malik Benson, I think, is a young player that did you hear I think what's his name said this. I was watching a live broadcast and I'm thinking it was the former Cowboy quarterback
Troy Aikman.
Yeah, Aikman. He said that when they were talking about Benson, he said Clint Kubiak thinks that Benson has the talent to be a number 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody heard, did anybody? I did hear him say. I did hear him say that. I was like, whoa, but crazy saying that about a 6th round pick. Which, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, wow, they're really high on Benson. And, the other day.
But look, Clint just be talking, bro. Remember, Clint said Aiden O'Connell, Kirk Cousins, and Fernando Mendoza were all starting level quarterbacks in the NFL. He said that. So it's like, I think he just be talking, bro. I think he should be saying stuff. I don't think He needs to fill up. Clint Kubiak does not like to do interviews. You can tell he doesn't like to do interviews. He should be filling the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like MBR said, it's not about the words, it's the actions. It's true. Because who wasn't out there today?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins was
Start
out
the
there.
ones,
And
the ones wasn't out there. Yeah.
And they didn't put the ones out there. So yeah, they're gonna probably. Are you still thinking that it's gonna be late in the season for Mendoza to come in?
Mid-season or late season. I like I said, I prefer him not to play at all this season, or to play like extremely late, like week 14 or after the bye week, which I think our bye week is week 13, I believe. So it would be like week 14, something like that. So I prefer the later the better. But like I said, Kirk Cousins has an injury history. We don't have the best offensive line. Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter just having their way with our offensive line, especially even the tackles. So I can see a situation where Fernando Mendoza is kind of forced into duty earlier than that. And at that point, I just hope for the best. I just hope we can do enough to protect him and not have him out there, like seeing ghosts, and not like put a serious delay on his development, because that is we make this big investment into him as a player, taking him number 1 overall, and and it's not just the cost of what it was, a number 1 overall pick, but it's the opportunity cost of what we could have possibly gotten in a trade had we traded back, and what we could possibly have gotten in this next upcoming draft as well, with the slew of quarterbacks coming out this next class. So we gave up all of that, knowing all that was on the table. We sacrificed all of that because the organization and the coaching staff and the front office, they all believed Fernando Mendoza was the guy that can lead us to where the Raiders want to eventually go. So the last thing we want to do is to do something that could possibly hurt his development and knock him off of that path that we feel he can take us to.
Yeah, I just, man, the thing I keep thinking about is the defense, and I'm like, man, if that defense is gonna be pretty bad early on, it's like, damn, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, whoever the quarterback is. If they're gonna put him in situations where he's gonna have to stand in there and complete a pass, and we've seen today what it can look like for Mendoza when he's constantly he was getting hit. He was getting hit. And I don't think today was an example of it was on him that he was getting hit. It was just that was just play unfolding. Yeah. Now, if you're talking about the preseason game 1 there where he was running and trying to, I think I'm glad that happened. Yeah. So then he could a mental note hey, look, this ain't college no more. This is the NFL. You can't keep doing this. And I'm sure even him throwing that interception, if you're taking a long-term approach to him, you're gonna be you know what, let him understand hey, you can't do that. Some people that were watching saying that, hey, Mike Washington probably expected Mike Washington to stay, but he didn't. To me, he threw it late over the middle. He threw it late over the middle. Yeah.
What you can say is that Charles Grant,
he was looking at he was looking at multiple receivers. I don't think he was just. But
and the thing is, that's very similar to the interception he threw to when he threw it in practice. When we threw the pick 6 to Jalen Petrie. Very similar play where he's throwing late over the middle, and a guy and I can't. Well, Genty was coming from the other side of the field. Mike Washington had actually chipped on the play because Charles Grant gave up the pressure low key. What Fernando Mendoza could have done was step up in the pocket, and if he didn't see anybody, just try to just dirt the ball at his check down speed and just live to see another play. But Mike Washington had chipped the right defensive end. Charles Grant still gave up the pressure, so it was bad right by him. But Fernando Mendoza compounded that by making a bad decision and not stepping up into the pocket, surveying, finding something else. So I mean, it was just a bad play overall. But no, just people trying to blame. Let's say people trying to blame it on Mike Washington. They really just trying to shoot Fernando Mendoza some bail. It's not nonsense. You don't as an outlet player. You don't don't sit down. You don't sit down right there. What you might want to say is that maybe he should like turn around and present a target. But even then, if you turn around and present a target, a guy can still like drive on the ball if it's late and over the middle, and you're locked on that guy. So they're just trying to shoot Fernando some bail right there, in my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, and I wish they were. I wish he played with the ones, man. I want to see him play with the ones, just because like this is where you can make a case where like, oh, okay, why Mendoza shouldn't be out there is like week in, week out. Are we gonna have guys out there that can consistently get open? We have Bowers, and then you want to throw Michael Mayer in there? Michael Mayer, you know,
consistently, possibly. Look. We all know I'm a Mike Mayer fan. I've been a Mike Mayer fan the entire time. Until I see Mike Mayer do it consistently, I'm not saying he can do it consistently. Is the ability there? The ability is there, but just because you have the ability don't mean you can actually do it and perform it. So, you know, he has the talent to do it, but I haven't seen him do it. So I can't. The only person I can say that can get open on a consistent basis for sure, that I know I can count in and week out, and that's Brock Bowers. Other than that, everybody else is a question mark.
Yeah. But Michael Mayer is definitely a piece that feels like he could be a big part of that offense this year. How much, we'll see. You know what I mean? We've said it time. Every year we're like, 12 personnel is going to be big, but the problem is that you can't run the football, or, you know, Michael Mayer is not nowhere to be found. You know, so we'll see what happens. Stop. I don't have a problem with chill rate, so you don't have a problem with interception. Let him learn. I had a problem with the bum second online out there doing a poor job protecting him. Yeah. But look, I've never said that Mendoza is going to go out there and like just kill it. I just want him to go out there and like, this is a year where, you know, hey, players are going to be making mistakes. It's a young team. It's one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Like, that should be the expectations. The expectation shouldn't be in the win-loss column. It should be about like, all right, let the players go out there. Let's see if they can get better each and every week. But there are going to be glaring weaknesses, and the glaring weaknesses is obviously wide receiver and interior defensive line. And I'm not sure at this point if it's going to change. I think that what could change is the scheme, Kubiak's scheme, and then obviously you add Brock Bowers. Hopefully he stays healthy for like the entire season, because if he's gone, if Brock Bowers is going to miss any games, man, I think there's going to be a sneak preview happen today. What it's going to look like.
Yeah, man, Brock Bowers not out there, bro. Yeah, bro. It's gonna be ugly, man.
Yeah, and then also the offensive line, if they could run the football, but man, and it's just, you know, it is what it is. I like I said, I like, my expectations weren't super high this season, but I did say it was going to be interesting just because of all the pieces the Raiders add and the young guys, and you're going to see them develop. Hopefully, like guys like McCoy, I think he can. You didn't really. I don't know if you said this, but I think eventually he could probably get in there and start maybe a few games. I know like right now it's not the case, but
yeah, man,
when he's out there, like you could tell like bro can cover. So I don't know. He's just gonna have to go through those, you know, like the situation where he had that penalty, you know, learn real quick, man, in the NFL. Like they're gonna call ticky-tack fouls like that. So did you
especially in the Raider jersey?
Yeah, especially in the Raider jersey. I mean, did you think that was? I mean, to me, it wasn't a big deal, but in like in today's NFL, like, do you think that like he shouldn't be doing that?
By the letter of the law, it is a penalty. Like you can do it, but you're allowed to make like those gestures, but you're not allowed to like stand over the player and do it. But that's one of those things where, you know, after the struggles he had last week and giving up those 2 touchdowns, where I'm sure, you know, he was able to make a play. He was feeling himself. He probably felt like he got a little bit of a monkey off his back. First thing he wanted to do is get up, you know, and let it be known, like celebrate. But by letter of law, you're not supposed to do that. But that's a weak call because it's unsportsmanlike. It's like taunting, but I don't think he was like. I can see if he like blinked over the guy and did it in his face, but he just got up and did it like in a general direction of the field, like not necessarily at the player that was on the ground. So I think it was kind of weak, but that is the rule.
Not now, man. I'm at 5 wins.
What? You oh yeah, I think you were at 5. No, were you at 6 before? I've been at 4.
I said 5. Like recently, I said, possibly 6. But like I think when we did the predictions, like a month ago, way before preseason, I think before training camp, I think I said 5. Because I think it was when we were going through the schedule too.
Going through the schedule, yeah.
We're going through the schedule, and we're like, man. But man,
I was at 4 with a possibility of 3 if we lose to the Saints.
Wide receiver Brown is what Thornton was supposed to be. Man, Thornton, man. Yeah, he wasn't even out there today.
Yeah, no, he was on the sideline. I saw him on the sideline after Mendoza played. He was talking to Mendoza.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude, man. But it's just,
yeah, I'm saying, like, I have no problem with Dante Thornton as a player. I have no problem with anybody on their team as a person. I mean, as a player, as a person, individual. I mean,
yeah,
I have no problem with anybody on our team as a person. I think they're all solid people, but when you get between those white lines, bro, you're there. Like, I love my grandmother to death, but she ain't starting on my football team. I'll tell you that right now. So, you be a good person all you want to, bro. It don't mean nothing. Look, you feel what you want to feel about O.J. Simpson. He's one of the greatest players of all time.
Watching the 22, I saw on the broadcast, he stared down that check down, threw it very late. Wooders was watching Mendoza's helmet the whole time. The pass made it worse. Yeah.
And it's just like the Genty one.
Because was he looking to the left? I think he was looking to the left. So I think the defense shifted that way. And then when he threw it late, the defense was already there to make the play.
And I want to say it was the same situation on the Genty play where he stared down Genty. He was staring outside of the field the whole time, and then Jalen Petrie broke on it. I mean, you can blame Genty a little bit on that play because I think, you got to cross the defender's face. Then, like, Genty gave a great effort on the ball either, on that interception he threw in joint practice. But it was a similar situation where he's just staring down his receivers. And one thing, and like one thing we talked about, well, we didn't talk about, but one thing they were talking about in OTAs and these mini camps was that, like, Fernando Mendoza was holding the ball for a long time, like a very long time. He was holding the ball. And that's some of the situations, he didn't necessarily see it this week as much. But last week, there were some times where it's like, bro, you got to get the ball out of your hands. 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 Because when you're playing against playing against ones and playing against some better defenses, like, your internal clock got to speed up, bro. You don't got all this time to be hanging down, back in the pocket, surveying the field, waiting for your first read to come open. You got to get it. You got to get out of there.
It should adjust. Like, you should adjust to the game as it goes on. Like, if you like if you know the rush is coming in, like the good quarterbacks, they adjust to it because they know that they're not going to have that much time because the whoever they're playing against is getting to they're going to be getting to the quarterback.
And that'll come with time, like you said. That'll come with time. But the good thing is that he's going to be getting scout team reps against Max Crosby. So he's going to see what it looks like when you got a top 7-ish, top 5-ish, and depending on how you feel about him, edge rusher in the league. You're playing scout team. You're Justin Herbert for this week playing scout team. Okay, you're going to see what it looks like when you got to face a Max Crosby. You understand, I got to get the ball out of my hands a lot faster. So that stuff he's going to learn. Like I said, I'd rather it be in these controlled environments where he got a red jersey on than on the field where they don't give a damn about if he makes it to next week or not. Like they trying to feed their families, and if it got to come at the expense of Fernando Mendoza's knees and ankles, and so be it.
Yeah, like I want Mendoza out there, but it's just more so like about some of the pieces around him, and I think the offensive line is going to be improved. I think if they play some good teams, obviously there's going to be maybe some little bit of struggles, but that just comes with playing in the NFL. They get paid too. And then obviously the run game, I think that's going to be big for a young quarterback. Obviously playing with Brock Bowers, that's going to be big. Just having the full, weapons at his disposal. And it's not like the Raiders have a whole lot, but you got Brock, you got Michael Mayer. What do you think of Jalen Naylor and what he's going to do this year? Do you think he's going to be a big factor? I know he had, I think he had like a catch that first series, I believe.
Yeah. No, it was the first series. It was an interception series.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that was the first. Was that the first series? Was that the first series or the second series? I can't remember.
I think it might have been the first series because they scored.
Okay. Yeah. No, it was the first series. So I remember Mendoza had the target to throw to the sideline. It was a pretty awful throw. Then it was Mike Washington run. It was a bad throw, but it was a bad throw. It was a bad throw to the sideline. I was like, what the hell? But then it was a few more nice plays. Then it was a play to Jalen Naylor, and I was like, oh, this is a dime. That was a dot right there. Yeah. It was similar to the throw he made last week in the same kind of, I don't know if it's the exact same route. I gotta look at the R22, but it's a similar situation where you got to layer it over the linebacker, but it got to be in front of the DB. And it was an accurate throw. Jalen Naylor made a nice catch. So, but Jalen Naylor, I mean, he's a guy that's gonna be where he'll be able to build trust with Kirk, because wherever he's supposed to be on a particular route, he's going to be there when he's supposed to be there. And guys like Kirk Cousins, especially guys like that don't have a lot of arm strength to really, try to fit the ball in tight windows. They're throwing two spots with timing. So they're expecting you to be at a spot at a certain time. And a guy like Jalen Naylor, he's going to be there when he's supposed to be there. Trey Tucker, it's an adventure, right? And Trey Tucker, you don't know. Malik Benson, a little bit of the same. You kind of don't know. He's showing some signs that he can be, but you kind of don't know. With Jalen Naylor, you kind of, there's going to be some trust where I know he's going to be where he's supposed to be at. So I think Kirk will build a trust with them, and I think that'll kind of help him. And but if you think about Seattle's offense last year, right? Because people talk about Seattle's offense last year, it was really like three guys. It was JSN, Zach Charbonnet, K9 and Zach Charbonnet. Like JSN was like, he accounted for damn near 1,800 yards of their total offense, right? By himself. No other receiver had more than 600. I think the next closest person was Cooper Kupp with like 590 something. And then the tight end, AJ Barner, had like 580 or something like that. And then I think the next person after that, highest receiver, might have been K9, either K9 or Zach Charbonnet. So like
Cooper Kupp didn't have
Cooper Kupp, yeah, I said Cooper Kupp was second. He was 593. And then after that, it was AJ Barner, the tight end, like I want to say 580 something. I don't recall. Damn. And then after that, it was
Bowers. You think Bowers could probably? I don't think he could get 1,800 yards. That's crazy for a tight end. Like that'd be.
He may have to. That's my point. Is that
I know.
Who else gonna do it? Because Cooper Kupp is better than any receiver we have on our roster.
Yeah.
So
and he's solid at this stage of his career.
Yeah, he's solid, right? He's like a solid number 2 receiver. He's gonna do the dirty work. He runs good routes. He has good hands.
He's basically at the point like kind of like a guy that we Jacoby Myers. Yeah,
he's Jacoby Myers. Yeah, Jacoby Myers. He's not as big as Jacoby is, but he's basically Jacoby Myers. You feel me?
Well, how tall is? I think he's like 6'2", right? He's 6'2", 6'3". I think Kupp.
But I think Jacoby's like Jacoby. Yeah, I think Jacoby got him on weight. But I don't know. Yeah, I think Jacoby got him on weight.
Cooper Kupp, I think he's 6'2". Okay.
About the same as, so they probably about the same height. I think Jacoby probably got him by like 8 pounds, probably something like that. I would assume.
Yeah, but both kind of stylists, like they're both possession receivers.
Exactly. Yeah, especially at this point in their careers.
Yeah, at this point in their career for sure.
But Kupp's still like a cleaner route runner. But they're both similar players. So that's why look, we're gonna talk about Jacoby because that was like we didn't even talk about Jacoby. Well, what was who do we draft with the pick we got? Yeah,
We
I'm trying to think. Who do
drafted.
we draft with that? Is that Dalton Johnson? If we drafted Dalton Johnson with the Jacoby Myers pick, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Because we did a whole lot of trading, so I'm not either Dalton, because it was a 6, right? So it was a 6 round pick. So either
Was it a 6? I thought it was a 5th.
Nah, I don't think it was a 5th. Or was it 5th? Hold up.
I thought it was a 5th. I thought it was like a 5th.
No, it was
I think it was or maybe it was a 6 that could convert to a 5th. But I'm pretty sure it ended up being a 5th.
Let's see. It was Kobe Myers. Let's see. Trade. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Raiders received a 4th round pick and a 6th round pick.
4th and the 6th. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Mike Washington. And
It's probably Jamad or Mike Washington. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
I'm mad at that at all. I'm not mad at it at all.
We also have to trade up. We have to trade up, so we probably use that use one of those picks to trade up to get Jamad. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Chill Ray says Spytech was asked if Max would be a Raider by the end of the season. Spytech said, "I can't predict the future."
I'm telling you, bro. Spytech.
I'll be honest with you,
But
man.
look,
It's gonna be rough. The beginning of the season is gonna be rough.
But look, that's similar to what he said before. Remember, we was talking about when he did that postseason press conference, and he talked about it, and they asked him. That's when we were on we about to trade Max. It was like, we need to trade him. We gotta trade him. And he said he was being real cryptic like that then, bro. It's no guarantee. Look, it ain't no guarantee Max still gonna be here, especially if they get what they want in the trade. That's the only thing he's holding out for. He's just holding out for the right compensation. As soon as he gets the right compensation,
yeah,
bro, you gone.
I agree because that whole situation kind of hurt his trade value, and obviously the Raiders want like two first round picks, but they understood that teams are going to be shortchanging them because they feel like, oh, desperation mode. You're not going to really want to keep a player that you just traded, but they salvaged the situation. Max is making the best of it. He's saying all the right things. Raiders obviously are saying all the right things right now, but if the Raiders have a slow start to the season, which it looks like this is going to be a long season in terms of like the win-loss column, that trade deadline comes around, these teams are going to start gearing up to make a Super Bowl run. One of the best things you could do in terms of trading for a player in the NFL during that time, and that can immediately impact the team, to me is a pass rusher. So Max Crosby easily, I can't project what team would do it, but maybe Dallas, maybe a team like Dallas, maybe a team like.
If you think about who is one of Max's like closest friends in the league, that's another defensive player.
You said Von? I think Von.
Yeah, Von Miller, right? Von Miller started the Sack Summit. Who did he have the year that Von Miller couldn't be there? Who did he have running it? He had Max running it, because they boys, they tight. When Von just had his his little show he did with the other pass rushers, he made sure he had Max Crosby on there. Like him and Max is real cool. So I could see a situation where Max from Texas, Von from Texas, they want to both get together, play in Dallas. Dallas I want to say they still got 2 first-round picks. Hey, you want even at this point, Spytech might take a first and a second at this point, But if you want to give up 2 first-round picks,
if we trade Max, it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be nasty. But look, yeah. It's even more reason why you don't start Mendoza, and it's even more reason why I'm trading. Look, Colin Simmons, bro, 2026. Colin, I don't think we're gonna be in. I don't know if we're gonna be in shooting distance for Jeremiah Smith, because he going top 3 for sure. But that 5, that in that 5 through 7 range, and I think I sent you the top 10 prospects from Mel Kiper and from Phil Yates. I don't know if you was able to look at it.
Oh yeah.
People already. But Colin Simmons, bro. Everybody keep talking about Dylan Harper. I've been saying the entire time, Colin Simmons is a dude. He's just special.
Dylan Stewart, you mean?
Yeah, Dylan Stewart. Yeah, what I say, Dylan Harper. That's
Yeah.
the kid from San Antonio.
They're both kind of like they're both kind of like right next to each other in terms of like right now. But it's crazy. A lot of these lists they're going to be adjusted by the end of the year.
They're gonna be way different by the end of the year.
Depending on the injury, who's having a big year.
One name gonna stay near. Well, two names gonna steer near the top.
But Moore and Smith.
You damn right.
But Moore, though, I ain't gonna lie, he is going into a season where he's gonna be playing in a different offense. Unless did they hire someone from within, or they hire someone else?
I don't recall. But to me, it don't matter, bro. To me, it don't matter. Moore is just a special passer, bro. Like Moore is he's just a different level of passer than I've seen out of a prospect for a long time, bro. His ability. He doesn't have the cannon, but he has a strong enough arm to make every throw. But he's just like I forgot what somebody said. It's like art. When he's throwing the ball, it's like art. It's just a touch, and this stuff he displayed when he was a 17-year-old true freshman with UCLA. He had some very rough moments too. But I saw the ability he had at that point, and I remember I told you early on. I told you when I first started doing shows with you, in like 2 or 3 years, Dante Moore is going to be a top 5 pick, and I said the Raiders are going to draft him. Obviously,
that's been your guy day one, bro. And I think if he would have came out this draft, he would have been like, he would have been
number 2 for sure. He would have went. He went. Well, but there are some people that feel that if he would have came out this draft, that Spytek might have took him. I forgot who said that. I think maybe you told me. Maybe you sent me that. I forgot. Somebody sent me an article saying that. I forgot who it was, but they sent me an article saying that
it's possible
he might have been number 1 this draft. But he for sure was going number 2.
It's possible, but you know how it is, man. Like when you talking about a player going number 1, especially quarterbacks, who's going to go number 1? They're going to pick apart everything, their game and everything like so. So with Dante Moore, they're going to be talking about his experience, how many this time next year, or not this time next year, but in terms of like after the college season, Moore's going to have plenty of experience at that point.
It's not even a question anymore.
It's not going to be a question. That's why they have him going what 1 and 2 as far as the best players in the draft.
Yeah. I wonder how deep they look at the experience with him though. I wonder how deep, because like I was watching they were talking about the guy out of North Texas, Mestamaker. That guy, he never started in. I think he never started in high school. He never started in his high school team. Like Dante Moore was a starter for his high school team as a freshman. So they were saying one of the knocks against Mestamaker is that like if you just look at overall total stats, he has less than like 50 total. Like he didn't even start in his high school team. He didn't start till he got to North Texas. And now he's going to OK State, I think, this next year. But he's a guy that's on a lot of people's radar because he has physical talent out of this world. But just his experience, and then he plays in gimmicky offenses. So they're like, how does that translate?
Okay, so people in the chat, shout out to everybody pulling up, the night crew in the building pulling up. We appreciate y'all. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. All right, so this people are talking about Mike Washington. Mike Washington obviously has been balling in the preseason, in training camp. From what we're hearing from a lot of the beat reporters, he's always making plays, explosive plays, and it's showing up in the games. Luden says this is a very hot take. I think Washington's going to have a better career than Genty in the end. Dude's big and fast, and just every time he touches the rock, I'm glued to the screen. Oh man, that's hot take. That's hot take central. But there's other people with hot takes. I mean, Ken thinks I think Mike will take Genty's job soon. So let's talk there. The career, that's hard. But let's talk about this year. Do you think Mike Washington, is there a scenario Mike Washington? Because that's bad. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's say it does. Let's say there's a possibility. Do you think there's a possibility that Mike Washington can take Genty's job? Maybe if he gets hurt, maybe the situation he gets hurt, and then Mike Washington comes in and he just balls. Explosive play after explosive play. You can't ignore it. Like this guy, every time he gets a rock, he finds a way to make a big play.
That's tough to say, because like this. You think about it like this. Kubiak wants to use his running backs as receivers. Last year he had K9, and if you one knock against K9 is that Kenneth Walker is not good in the pass game. He's not good catching the ball. He's just not great at it. But he still ended up being like their fourth or fifth highest receiver. He's just not good catching the ball. Genty is really good at catching the ball, right? It's one of his more underrated traits as a running back. He's actually a really good receiver. So, and Mike Washington there, he's not horrible at it. I don't think he's as bad as Kenneth Walker is, but he's not, I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Genty is, especially as a route runner out of the backfield. So I think it's going to be tough from that aspect, but just as a pure runner, I can see a situation where Mike Washington has more success than Genty just as a pure runner, just because he's big, he's physical. You see his feet. He's able to hit those jump cuts. He's explosive as a runner. He does things that Genty hasn't shown with consistency. Remember this time last year during preseason, obviously we talk about the scheme and everything. So it was a different scenario, different offensive line. But Genty was struggling. Remember, I was saying, yo, bro, Genty, he not looking too good. And it's not necessarily just the scheme, just him as a runner. I don't see the physical attributes that I want to see from a guy that's going to be that got taken 6th overall, that's going to be a bell cow back in this league. I said then I didn't see it. People, you're a hater, is this? It's like, nah, bro, I just don't see the physical stuff I need to see out of him as a runner. But, there are some people, our bar Marcus from Tape Don't Lie said that if Genty had got the same run or same hold that Mike Washington got against the Cardinals, that Genty would have scored. I vehemently disagree, because I think Genty wouldn't have made that move to make that first guy miss. After, I don't know if Genty would make that initial jump cut, but even then, I don't think he would have had the feet to make that second guy miss. So I disagree, but just I can see a scenario where it happens. Long story short, I don't think it happens.
Yeah, I don't think it happens. I think people are kind of like, they're excited about Mike Washington. He obviously has an explosive part of his game. Ken says Kubiak is entitled to Genty. I don't think he's scared to move on from Genty. I'm not sure.
And Kubiak is tied to Spike Tech.
You know what I mean? Spike Tech is gonna have something to say about that. Like, he's gonna want to give him every opportunity to succeed as well. Genty is slower though. He would have got caught. I mean, you can make a point that like Washington got caught too. I thought he was gonna score and then he got caught from Brown, but he did create it though.
Exactly.
He kind of created. I was like, he just kept going. Exactly. Does he remind you of Darren McFadden? I don't see.
No, I don't see that. No, and low key, Darren McFadden was faster, bro. Darren McFadden was faster, bro.
Yeah.
And Darren McFadden, I don't know if Darren McFadden makes those jump cuts. Darren McFadden lower body, we clown all the time, bro. Darren McFadden, bro. His legs, bro, it was wild how skinny his legs were. But Darren McFadden, he had the speed, he had the power.
He was a north-south runner, but he had the speed.
He had a smooth little stiff arm too.
Yep.
He'll hit you with a stiff arm, and if he got on you, he'll get gone.
That's kind of Washington though.
Yeah.
Like both north and south runners, both got a good stiff arm, but it starts stylistically.
Hey, Ludens, I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, look. Luden, this is severe, man. He's been talking about this since day one. As far as the pick, but hey, look. I'm not on a Genty. I'm not gonna go against Genty right now in terms of like him having a bad year, him getting overtaken by Washington. I think the Raiders just have a situation where they got two talented running backs back there. Yeah. It's a good problem to have. It's a luxury actually. So I think, but I don't think Washington is gonna overtake Genty. Genty would have to literally like be terrible.
Yeah.
In order for that to happen.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I think who does Washington remind me of? I'm trying to think of a player he reminds me of. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Cause he's faster than Gus Edwards. I would say Gus Edwards, but he's faster than Gus Edwards. He's bigger than Gus Edwards. He's kind of tall. Remember, but he's faster. Remember Tennessee had a running back,
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. But I think he's more physical than Chris Brown was. Chris Brown was a big running back. He was tall too. But
was
I
like
want to say
6'3".
yeah, he was big. He was a big running back. But I want to say Mike Washington faster than Chris Brown.
DeMarco Murray?
DeMarco Murray. Maybe I could see that.
Yeah, maybe DeMarco. It's hard right now. I don't. But like watching him run, it doesn't seem like he. I'll give him this. He is explosive because like it doesn't look like he's running fast either. But you just see him just like get to that second level and find a way to make a big play. But man, that's
but look. I criticized Genty for it on the big run today. He got hawked. He got caught from behind.
No, for sure. I see Darren McFadden parallels. McFadden had more bursts, but Washington's better in the crowd. Washington can actually break arm tackles.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, they used to get on McFadden on that, especially like with his first couple seasons, and then Hugh Jackson had that like famous offseason where he just went up to McFadden and asked him like what plays that he wanted to run, what plays he was comfortable. Because we all heard the story because we seen what happened during that season. Like he literally
immediately as soon as Hugh got there, bro, completely different. And that's what you kind of hope happens to Genty, where it's like we got a guy in here, you know, just gonna do this, have similar effect with Genty that Hugh had with McFadden. Excuse me.
Yeah, I've said Latavius Murray, but I think he's faster than Murray.
Yeah, I think he's faster than Murray. But Murray was a big kid too.
Murray, he ran like a 4.4, I think, coming out.
Yeah.
They drafted him in the 6th way back when. I think he ran like a 4.4, 4.38. I think he ran a 4.38. This dude ran almost a 4.2.
Yeah. And then Mike Washington has better feet than Murray did.
Yeah.
But Murray had a long career, man. Murray had a long career.
Hey, that's a good comparison. I'm not gonna lie. I said this to you before, and I was just thinking about it. I'm like, but Genty, the thing is,
I can see that.
we don't really know this in terms of if you're talking about career wise, because Frank Gore, what made him great was his consistency.
Yeah, that's what made it so great. And remember, think about it, like Frank Gore. I think he had 2 ACLs in college.
No, I think he broke his knees. I think he broke. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, I think he had 2 ACLs, 2 or 3 ACLs in college, for sure 2. But I want to say he had 2 or 3 ACLs in Miami. In Miami, right? Yeah, Miami. And but he never was. He consistent as they get. But that's the thing though, bro. Like I don't want that for Genty because
you're right.
It's one of those situations. It's 2 ACLs, right?
Yeah, he didn't break anything. He overcame 2 major college ACL tears.
Yeah, it's 2 ACLs. I remember he never had another injury. I remember I looked at that because remember as you already know, I was a big fan of Michael Penix, and that's one of the people I looked at. Was like, man, Frank Gore was able to do it at a position where he's actually taking damage. But Penix already showed you ain't Frank Gore, bro. You are not Frank Gore.
What's crazy is they're saying that he was actually pretty fast.
Before the ACLs?
Before the ACLs.
I'm pretty sure. Bro. It's Miami, dog. It's Miami, bro. They not taking, like, you play a skill position. You look at Greg Olsen, bro, at tight end. Greg Olsen probably one of the fastest tight ends you've ever seen in your life.
And the reason why I'm thinking the comp to Frank Gore is good because he had contact balance. That's what made him.
But the thing about Frank Gore is that, like, at no point, and I could be wrong, but at no point was Frank Gore like he's top 5, top 10 at running back. Frank Gore is always just solid. I don't think at any point people were like
Frank Gore is really good, man.
Frank Gore was good, but I don't think at any point was it like Frank Gore is like I said, maybe he snuck into the top 10, maybe, but top 5, no. At no point was Frank Gore ever top 5.
Let me pull up because he had some really good seasons too. What his longevity was crazy. He had like a 16-year
longevity was crazy. Yeah.
And I'm talking about like he was at the end of his career getting like 700 to 800 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
But that's the thing is like Frank Gore, Yeah, Frank Gore he was just super consistent for a long time, and that's kind of what it was with him. I don't think he was ever like he never popped off the screen where he's like, oh my God, look at Frank Gore. He was just super consistent.
His second season in the league, he gets basically 1,700 yards rushing.
Okay. who was you with at that time?
Oh, the 49ers. He was 49ers.
Oh, yeah, 49ers forever.
Yeah. Okay. So he had like 600 his first year. I mean, no, he had 600, and then he had 1,695 rushing his second year, and then he came back, had 1,100 yards, then had 1,000, then 1,100, and then 2010 he only played like 11 games. He had 853.
That's my point. It's like
1,200, 1,100, 1,100. So
that's gonna be Genty, bro. That will minus the 1,600 yards.
That's good though. That's great. If you're
that's solid. But look,
you're getting that type of production long. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to say if Genty's gonna have a long career or not.
That's my point though. It's like I don't want like somebody that's like outside of that second season, right? The second season aside, other seasons are like good seasons. Oh, he's his good season, but I want like special, explosive, off the charts type seasons, right? I don't want like chugging along, you get 1,100. Like, you know, 1,000-yard season, you have to average like 70-something yards per game to get 1,000 yards. Like, you know, so I'm not super impressed by that. I'm not super impressed by 1,100. You start to get to the 1,200 range, okay. Now I'm starting to be more impressed, but I don't want that out of a 6th overall pick. I want like, you know,
Well, does the total scrimmage yards matter to you? Does that matter?
That matters, and I think Genty's going to play well there because I think he's going to catch the ball more too.
Yeah. So if you getting like at least 1,500 yard scrimmage yards for multiple seasons, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean,
that's solid. That's solid. Yeah, that's solid. That's solid.
That's solid. That's solid.
Yeah, that's solid.
Oh man, that's pretty.
It's
good.
like 1,100 rushing yards, 400 receiving. That's a good season. That's a good season. I'll say that. I don't say solid. It's above solid. That's a good season.
Ooh, so that's that second 06 season, man. He balled out.
He got to be damn near 2,000 or above if he had 1,700 rushing.
Yeah. He had like 500, almost 500 receiving yards. So he had.
So that's an elite season. That's elite numbers right there, right? 1,500 is good. That's a bad, but I don't want to shit on 1,500. That's a good season. It's a good season. That's above solid.
Yeah, but I would say like for the majority of his 1,000-yard seasons, he averaged like about 1,500 scrimmage yards.
Yeah, so those are good. Those are good seasons. Those are good years. You got to back to push up 1,500 yards. That's a good year. But that's even then. I'm like, you feel me? Like that's not.
Man, he had a long career, bro. He was a
long time.
Long career, man. But yeah, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Mike Washington reminds me of a poor man, Adrian Peterson. Nah, I can't do that, bro.
That's what Jeremiah Love reminds me of that.
You know what? That's a good comparison. A poor man's or like you're
a poor man's Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson, like there's not
like his movement skills. I'll be like,
yeah,
bro, that's a good comparison.
You can tell he watched Adrian Peterson. You can tell that was probably like his favorite running back.
Yeah,
the way he moves, the way he does his jump cuts, he's not like as explosive as Adrian Peterson. He's not as strong as Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson is a different animal, bro. But you can tell he's like a poor man's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. I don't see Washington having the same like movement skills as Adrian Peterson.
Nah, bro. Adrian Peterson could check you in the phone booth.
Genty becomes Frank Gore. I'll eat my words. Frank Gore made a lot of special. Oh, Ken didn't show special. Genty didn't special last year. Okay, well, I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be a tough year. Hopefully, the offensive line can get it together. They can be at least average this year because that's what the Raiders have been below average in terms of offensive line play. They can get to average this year and then just continue to get better. We'll see. Gore was very tough. Yeah, not for sure.
Yeah.
Tony
Gore's tough,
Pollard?
man.
Kind of like Tony
Tony
Pollard. Tony Pollard? Nah. I think he was.
People thought highly of Tony Pollard, though. People were really high on Tony Pollard. Remember Tony Pollard? I want to say Tony Pollard is.
That's that Cowboys.
That's why they. Yeah, but is that? But remember. I think Tony Pollard is the reason why the Cowboys got rid of Zeke. Because I was like, bro, we got Tony Pollard who's going to take over. So they were high on Tony Pollard. So it's not like it was in a situation where it was just like outside hype. It was the Cowboys saying like Tony Pollard's going to be the next dude. And then I think he was just hurt all the time. I think now he's with the Titans, I believe. I think he's hurt all the time too. Again.
Hey, let me ask you this, because I don't want to keep bringing this up, because watching the defense, just like, I know it's second team. I know like the starters weren't out there, but man, like they literally couldn't stop the run. It felt like. At what point are you going to be concerned during the season where you're like, you're going to be looking at like Rob Leonard sideways?
So who do we play week one? It's the Dolphins. I already told you what I think of what Devon Achane gonna do to us. So I'm not gonna be
run.
If he puts up like 200 on us, I'm gonna be concerned.
And
if he goes like
they have to the Dolphins don't really have weapons like that. They need
no outside weapons. No, they have no outside receivers.
So I'm sure the game plan is going to be stopping Achane. If they can't do that,
that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be a long season.
But Achane is very good back though. Like he's top 7 back. You know, so if he has a big game, like he goes for like 120, all right, cool. I'm not gonna be too panicked. But like I said, if he goes for like 150-ish, like, you know, anywhere between 150 and 200, oh, for sure, I'm immediately panicking. If it's 120, I was like, man, we need to get it together. But you know what? It is Devon Achane, right? He do average like what was it? I think he averaged like 6.7 yards a carry, something crazy like that, bro. Something ridiculous,
bro.
Like something crazy.
Yeah, man, that's like he went to Indy. The Colts had 1,000 yards his first season there, had like 900 the season next, and then from there he was just averaging like 800, 700 yards his last few seasons in the league. That's pretty good if you consider like he was clearly above like 30 plus at that point.
Yeah, for sure. 16th year season, like he's probably 38, 39.
The only other guy I like you could probably now I won't say compare him to, but like where you get amazed by how old he is, but still putting up like elite numbers or great numbers, is the best running back of this generation.
Adrian?
No, not Adrian Peterson. This generation, like after Adrian Peterson, it would be old boy from the Ravens.
Oh, Derrick Henry?
I mean, he's like what, 32, 33?
Yeah, he's 32. Yeah, 32. Yeah, and he putting up like. And he not putting up like solids. He putting up like
that's what I'm saying.
Crazy seasons. Like he just had like 1,800 yards rushing or something like that last year, right? And people was like, oh man, Adrian Peterson's having a down year.
Yeah,
but he still put up stupid numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at him like, damn, like first ballot Hall of Famer at this point.
Oh, for sure, bro. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because
for sure, without a question, bro.
Because where is he at? I wonder where he's at in like the
all time,
because he's put up like great seasons. I'm trying to look at like, let's see.
Damn, I wonder where Ryan he was drafted in.
All right, so it was a slow start to his career. Yeah, I remember with Tennessee.
Because he had Deion Lewis ahead of him. And look, bro, my boy one of the guys, another guy I do a Monday show with. He's a Titans fan. And he says, bro, the same way that Vrabel did Derrick Henry in Tennessee, he's like, that's the same way he's doing Travion Henderson in New England. He's like, for some reason, he does not be wanting to mess with like rookie running backs. It's like everybody knew that like it was clearly like Derrick Henry was a better player, but he didn't want to mess. He still kept putting Deion Lewis out there, and he's like the thing that's the most ironic about it is that like Vrabel loves Deion Lewis. He's like Travion Henderson is a faster, way better version of Deion Lewis, but he would not give Travion Henderson any love up there. Travion Henderson was he started the season as a third string running back, and still ended up being the best rookie running back last year. But that's how talented he is.
I think he's going to defer to McDaniels, though. Josh McDaniels. If Josh McDaniels feel like he's earned more opportunities on offense, I think he's going to defer to, because he has a lot of respect for him. Like, McDaniels does have a lot of like credibility as an offensive coordinator. I'm not talking about as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator. Yeah. As an offensive minded, he's respected. He's won big time games and playoffs and had big seasons.
He might be the most decorated offensive coordinator of all time.
I mean, how many Super Bowls did he win as an OC?
5.
He won 5. How much did Norv Turner win?
3.
Maybe 3. Yeah, I mean 5. That's a lot. Like, top of my head, I'm like, he's probably gonna be near the top of the list in terms of like Super Bowls as an OC. But I think, if Josh McDaniels wants him to get more on offense, but I think AJ Brown is gonna have something to say about that. Obviously, they're gonna be, but as far as running the football, if he wants him out there, he's gonna get the because you gotta think about it. Like, there was nobody in Tennessee to tell Vrabel no on that coach.
Exactly.
If we're being honest. We're being honest.
Yeah, that's facts. Right, you can. That's a good comparison. Al Horford. That's a good comparison.
Just damn solid and reliable. No, I gotta think about who was in the league. 06, the best running back in 06 was probably LaDainian Tomlinson.
Probably, yeah.
Adrian Peterson was drafted in 07.
07, yeah, that's the Jamarcus Russell year. That's Jamarcus Russell. That's Calvin Johnson. That's Darrelle Revis. That's Adrian Peterson.
He was top 10.
Frank Gore?
Yeah, he was top 10. He was. I don't know if he was ever top 5.
He's top 10. Maybe after that rookie year, after that second year, rather, maybe you could say he was top 5.
Like, that were playing at that time are basically
because you think about it was Jamal, it was LaDainian Tomlinson. I think Preseason was probably still going. Jamal Lewis is probably still going. Adrian Peterson was coming up in the league. I'm trying to think of some other backs that would have been good at that time. Arian Foster came a little bit later. Eddie George was probably still cooking. Like, it was some backs back then.
Man. Oh man. Is when are you gonna put Spike Tech on the hot seat? This is gonna be a hot take show, because we already talked about Genty possibly being replaced or whatever, which I don't think is gonna happen, but someone put it out there. Let's talk about Spike Tech, right? I like Spike Tech. I want to believe in Spike Tech, but I also have to be real. If these drafts aren't building the foundation of this team as far as talent, and they're not getting at any talent or getting any returns on the talent. I mean, it's still early, so it's hard to say, but early returns seem like, you look at like last year's draft, Dante Thornton might be on his way out. They're probably, you throw out a scenario that might happen, they might put him on IR. He might do that just to save face, but in reality, he could easily get cut.
Yep. I'm trying to think. When do I put him on a hot seat? So I will tell you this: I'm already looking at him side eye. I'm already looking at Spike Tech but I want to give him, I said I'll give him 3-4 years. 3-4 years. So 3-4 years. 3-4 years. So he had one. So I'm probably giving him 4 because I'm not gonna hold him too much responsible. But see, that's the thing. Because I didn't want to hold him too much responsible for what happened last draft. But then he messed around and did the same dumb shit last draft that he did this draft. After he literally had an interview saying, "Oh, I learned from last year. I'm not going to make the same mistakes again." And you went out and did make the same mistakes. Like, bro, like, what are we? So it's like, I didn't want to hold him accountable for that. But then he does it again. So I'm like, okay, well now I'm putting it on you then, dog, because I thought it was all Pete. Dante Thornton for sure is Pete. I'm thinking Genty was Pete, but now I don't know. So so now I'm looking at like there's a realistic possibility that in the first 4 picks of that draft, only one of them makes a meaningful contribution, and that's Genty, right? Because Jack Bech, he ain't making no meaningful contribution. The motherfucker he tied in 3. Charles Grant ain't gonna play, and Caleb Rogers, could he supplant JPJ? It's a possibility, but if he doesn't, he a backup. So that means your first 4 picks, one is a contributor, and we got fans already saying, yeah, look, he need to lose his job. So he's like, but even if he's not the starter, Genty's still gonna be a big part of the offense, but he's gonna be the starter, unless he gets hurt, which I don't think will happen. Not knock on wood for that, but so he's gonna be the starter. So for all those 4 picks, one meaningful starter, and I think who would have happened after that? Well, then you got Darian Porter. So Darian Porter's gonna be a starter. So Darian Porter was 3rd round, right?
3rd round pick.
Or 4th. 3rd. Okay, so now scratch that. So we got 2. So out of our first 5 picks, we got 2 that'll be meaningful contributors. So I think Darian Porter. I've been on Hezekiah Massis saying he will be the starter.
Rogers could
possibly. But I don't. I said Rogers is a possibility, but I don't know.
Huge.
He's a possibility, but that's dependent on JPJ getting hurt. Because I think if JPJ is healthy, I think JPJ is clearly the better player. But if JPJ is hurt,
he's more talented, but then like JPJ's,
I think he's just better. I think he's more talented and just better. I think his issues is that he just stays hurt.
We'll see, because he got hurt this week. So, and the starters didn't play this week, but they said like even if the starters were out there, JPJ wouldn't play this game. I believe that.
Yeah, because he just got banged up in the joint practice, right? Or not a practice before the joint, or practice before the joint.
He wasn't even part of the joint practice. It was the injury happened before. So
but I said the first 3 rounds. So Tonka was like what, 4th, I think, right? Tonka was the 4th round.
Tonka was
4th or 5th? Not 5th. Tonka was 5th.
He
was 5th because Dante was the 4th. So Tonka was the 5th round. So I said the first 3 rounds. That's because when I look at the rounds, I'm looking at the first. I'm expecting guys in the rounds 1 through 3 to start.
Nope, he was in the 4th.
He's in the 4th. Okay, so yeah, I usually, like I said, that's my generally how I look at drafts, and I said it before. Drafts in the 1st round, I'm expecting like all pro, near all pro level player. You draft in the 2nd round, I'm expecting like plus starter, really good starter, very good player, like Trayvon Merrick his last year with us. I'm expecting that level of player where you're not a star player, but you're a really good player. That's what I'm expecting in the 2nd round. 3rd round, I'm expecting you're a good starter for us. I'm trying to think who's a guy that's like that.
Solid.
Adam Butler. Just a solid player, good player, solid player, does the dirty work, not gonna be a star. That's what I'm expecting. But you're either that kind of starter or you're a key rotational piece. So maybe you're not a starter, but you're a linebacker that rotates in. You're a really good contributor, or an edge player that subs in. You're really good at in that particular. Calebon Chason, the year we had Calebon Chason, that level of player where you're just a good starter, good rotational piece. That's what I'm expecting in the 3rd round. So right now we got 2 of those. We got Darian Porter, who's gonna be a starter.
He was drafted in the 1st round.
Yeah, Calebon Chason, but yeah, he was a 1st round pick. That we kind of salvaged. But that's the level of player I expect.
The level of player, I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
Gabe Jackson was one of the best 3rd rounds ever. Yeah, man.
For us, yeah, for sure.
What I think Gabe Jackson might have been a 4th round pick.
I thought he was a 3rd. I'm pretty sure he was a 3rd because that was the what was that draft? That was the Derek Carr draft. That was Khalil Mack, Derek Carr. Then it was Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Gabe Jackson.
3rd round.
Then it was I forgot who was the 4th. It was Justin Ellis in the 5th. Then it was Keith McGill, I want to say, in the 6th.
That was a great draft.
And was that the Shalom Luani draft? Was he in the 7th?
And then I think TJ Carey in the 7th.
That was TJ Carey's was that draft? Okay.
Yeah, TJ Carey was in the 7th. So they got
Shalom Luani was another draft in.
So the thing is too, another thing too is he's gonna have to hit on these later round picks too.
Yeah.
It's like someone is gonna, and it looks like he he might be hitting on maybe Masses possibly or Hemingway. Like, so it's gonna be a combination. You want to hit on those first couple rounds, but then there's the second round.
Did we get was Jay Richardson that draft? I think Jay Richardson was he that draft? Keith McGill was that draft, right? Was Jay Richardson that draft?
Raiders. All right, so we got Shelby Harris was another 7th round pick.
Shelby Harris was the other one.
So this is the full draft. Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Gabe Jackson, Justin Ellis in the 4th. Gabe Jackson was a 3rd round pick. We already said that. Keith McGill was the other 4th round pick.
Okay, Keith McGill was the 4th.
Yep. And we didn't have any picks in rounds 5 and 6, but we had 3 7th round picks. TJ Carey, and Shelby Harris.
Shelby Harris. Who was the other one?
Damn, like this is a great draft because a lot of these guys.
Great draft.
Carey was like a slot corner for the Raiders for some years. Shelby Harris has had a long career. He's still in the league, I think.
Yeah.
Still in the league. Justin Ellis had a role with the team.
She said we had 3 7. Who was the other 7th?
Jonathan Dolan, safety. He was the last.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Now I'm not really looking at 7th round picks and like expecting.
No, I'm not really looking at it. Okay, I can't remember what year Jay Richardson was drafted. Then it wasn't that year.
Jay Richardson. Yeah, that's a random.
Because that's something. I want to say that's the same year as Shalom Luani. That might have been the year we took Shalik Calhoun in the 3rd. That might have been the year we took Shalik Calhoun. I remember Shalom Luani. That was the football playing Jesse. He was a safety out of Utah, I think.
Damn, hey, you know what? I'm looking at like.
Was that the PJ Hall draft?
McKenzie, like you could tell, man, he does have an eye for talent.
Jay Richardson was 07, okay.
But he has
that was a long time ago, okay.
He has some misses though. I'm not gonna lie. John Feliciano, he took him in the 4th in 2015. Yeah, we're looking at like random Raiders draft back in the day. But look, Spy Tech is gonna have to figure it out. He's gonna have to figure it out. He's got to. However way he gets there, he's gonna have to figure out to put a competitive roster out there. And right now, this is year. Would you say it's kind of year 1 to a rebuild, but it's like his 2nd year as a GM. I think this is the first year they actually committed to a rebuild. They're like, all right, it's time to, draft a young QB, start building around him. I think trading Max Crosby almost solidified it, but obviously he's still on the team, and they had to, after the Ravens rescinded that trade, he's still there. But I think there's a high possibility he's gonna get traded, especially if he balls out and the Raiders are trash early on, which it looks like they're not gonna be winning a lot of football games this season
at all.
Man, you could tell a team could just come calling, and he's probably gonna like try to get as much as possible in a trade. Did everybody see where Khalil Mack said he never talked to Gruden? Yeah, we seen that. That's one of our notable quotables, I think.
Yeah, it was a notable quotable. Yeah,
which, like confirmed basically what Gruden said. Gruden was like literally saying that he didn't really talk to Mack the whole time. So I'm glad that came out there. Jay McKenzie was cooking. Jay Richardson was the year we drafted Quentin Moses in the 3rd. Jay beat him out for a round.
Oh man, I remember Quentin Moses, bro, out of Georgia. So I remember. I thought he was gonna be a dog because Quentin Moses would have came out. Quentin Moses is almost a Sorsby type situation.
07. Damn, Chill Ray said Jay Richardson was 07. That was
07. Okay,
Jamarcus Russell.
A minute ago. I was just looking at some drafts not that long ago, so that's why that name stuck out to me. But I'm probably confusing him with Shelby Harris. So I might have been I might have been thinking about Shelby Harris, and that's who was taken in the 7th in the other draft with all of them, and not Jay Richardson. Yeah, because the Quentin Moses year, man, that was the year people like he was supposed to. If he would have came out the year before, he would have been like a top 10 pick. He was a pass rusher out of Georgia, and then we ended up cutting him. He didn't make the team. And people thought like we actually that's how dysfunctional people thought we were as an organization, that they thought we cut him by accident. Yeah. Like we didn't actually mean to do it. That's how bad we were at the time. I was
Well, before we get up out of here, let's just wrap it up, man. Like obviously preseason game 2, Raiders won the game, but obviously it's preseason. I don't really care about who wins or loses. It's just more of like certain things that you want to see from certain young players, and you want to see them like show out a little bit, make some plays. Mendoza obviously had an up and down game. I wish the starters played, but they, Kubiak didn't want to do that. It is what it is, man. I think it just confirms really like it's gonna be a tough season in terms of like the win-loss column, but we kind of expected that was because we already knew this was gonna be a developmental year. For me, it's just focusing on getting players ready for 2027. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's get ready for that 2027 season. Who's gonna be a part of that team? Because right now, if you tell me like, if you just look at each like room position group, can you confidently say like some of these players are gonna be back next year? And there's only like a few like Brock, we know is coming back. Mayer's gonna be a free agent. Wide receivers, you don't know. Like, can the Raiders get out of that Jalen Naylor contract after this season? You know what I mean? I know they paid him this year, but let's say if he struggled, I'm just throwing it out there.
It is a 2-year deal. Is it a second-year option on a deal?
Let's see, Jalen Naylor. But not just him. If you just look at the offensive line, like, can you predict what the offensive line is going to look like in 2027? Like, some guys are not going to be there. JPJ could obviously be traded. He can, there's a possibility he won't be in this team.
Yeah.
There's a possibility Cole Miller. There's an out on his contract. So if they opt for putting a younger player out there, I think Cole Miller stays, especially if he just stays consistent, which he's always been that player. Tackles age well. Let's see, spot.
Trey Tucker is another one that could be going.
Yep, Trey Tucker is also gone. So like, there's so many.
I mean, Jack Besh.
Jack.
No, they're not gonna cut Jack Besh. But yeah, man, it's a lot of guys.
It's gonna be hella funny. You're gonna keep bringing back that integral part of the offense.
Look, people was really popping it last week after Jack Besh had them 3 catches. People was popping it. What you got to say about Jack Besh now, Severe? They was really popping it. And bro, I don't know if you saw the. Did you see both? You saw Clint Kubiak's post game interview, right?
Yeah.
You saw Vinny's question, didn't you?
Vinny, when he asked him about potential out. So you're right. Jalen, it's a 2-year deal, essentially a 2-year deal. They can get out of it after 2 years. If they get out of it after this season, it's going to be a $10 million dead cap hit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I'm saying, but did you see Clint Kubiak? You remember Vinny's question?
What was the question?
A specific question.
What question were you asking?
Vinny was like, we didn't see Jack Besh out there. Is he dealing with something? And Clint was like, nah, he was out there. He was out there. Like the ball just didn't find him. I was like, damn, dog, you a 2nd-round pick playing against second stringers, and the Raiders beat writer had to ask a question about whether or not you were out there. Dog, zip him up, bro. Zip him the fuck up. It's a wrap.
Look, I was giving him. Look, I feel like I was giving him like, all right, if Brock is out there and all these other pieces out there, you throw in Jack Besh, he can come in and be productive. That's where he's really at. That's what I meant when I said what I said.
I know what you meant.
But if you're telling me like everybody knows the ball's coming to either Jack Besh or some other guys that are not named Brock Bowers or Mayer or some of the other guys, you know what I mean, or Jalen Naylor, then that's where it's like
yeah. If they're game planning to stop Jack Besh, then
exactly,
yeah, Jack Besh is removed.
That's different. I'm looking at it as more of a complementary player. And if like Brock Bowers is out there, then I can see him like, get a catch here, you know what I mean? Situational football, physical guy, give it to him. But
what happened to 3rd and best people? Where are my 3rd and best people at?
Hey, Mayer wasn't out there either, huh?
Nah, Mayer, none of the starters played.
So Mayer, I guess, is considered like a starter.
I think their base is 12. I think that's gonna be their base
on offense.
I think that's gonna be their base. Yeah, on offense with Naylor and Trey Tucker.
Man, yeah, Steve Smith did. Yeah, it was pretty bad,
bro.
Steve Smith basically gave Jack the Jerry Judy treatment and said he's not one. He's not the one.
Nah, he did. He facts, bro. And look, he was dead ass right about Jerry Judy too, bro. That's
yeah. No,
we hoping the best for Jack Bech though, man. Jack Bech is another guy. That's a good guy. Jerry Judy, I don't like Jerry Judy as a person either. Like Jerry Judy's a dude like fuck Jerry Judy. I don't care if he does well or not. Jack Bech, I want him to do well, not only because he's a Raider, but because he's just a genuinely a good dude. You can tell, seeing his interviews, you can see he's passionate about the game. He wants to do well, push in the work.
It's the talent.
Some dudes just don't got it, man. Some dudes just don't got it, man.
You know, Jerry Judy had the talent, but his the character.
And he got feet for hands too, bro. He couldn't catch a cold in Alaska, bro.
He dropped a lot of passes in Denver, and
that's right. And that could be Ryan Williams too. Like, remember the kid that came onto the scene? I mean, hopefully he gets over it. But this last year, I'm gonna say he led FBS in drop rate, and all the talent is there. The speed, the explosive. He's still young. I think he was a 17-year-old true freshman. So last year he was 18, so he could be 19 years old and eligible for the NFL draft. But he just had a rough year last year, bro. A rough year last year in terms of drops, but he's super talented. He could be a guy that, he could be another guy that falls because he has some questionable years, and get a not even mid round, probably like a third round still, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me. All right, so obviously preseason's done. Pretty much over. I mean, they're gonna have one last game against the 49ers. At that point, do you even see do you see Mendoza out there getting reps? Do you see AOC? Like, are there gonna be any starters? Probably not. It's that last preseason game. That's essentially the fourth preseason game in years.
Yeah, but look though, and so I would say this because it's different. Because I think people handle it different. Because back in the day, it would be like the first preseason game. Your starters would get like a quarter or something like that, or get a few series. Maybe the first quarter. Then the second preseason game, they would get about the same. And the third preseason was like the dress rehearsal, right, where they would get the most time. So he was number one FBS. Yeah, so that's what it was. So it wasn't even just drop rate. It was just the number one in drops. Okay, I thought it was drop rate. But yeah, the third preseason game was like the dress rehearsal, and then the third and the fourth one is when you sit everybody. But now I think different coaches handle it differently. And since we had the joint practice, maybe they treated that more like the dress rehearsal because they can actually show some stuff as well. So that's why they didn't play any of their starters this game. So I think they probably handled this last preseason game like they handled the first one, where Kirk gets a series. Because you don't want it to be like a full 2 weeks before. And then it's another week because the season doesn't start till the 9th, right?
For real? So hold on. Wait. So that would look weird. You sit the starters this game, especially against a quality opponent. Whether they were playing starters or not, this is a deep football team. It's night and day difference between the Raiders and Texans. You can tell by the depth that they have. Like, it's 9 day difference. And now you're going to the 49ers, who in years past they've been one of the best teams in the league, but it looks like they're aging, they're getting hurt, and they got their own issues. But it's still the last preseason game. They're probably not going to play a whole bunch of starters. They're not going to play any starters that last game. You're saying that the Raiders should put starters out there?
I think the Raiders will. I think they treat it like they treated preseason game 1 because they didn't do it this week. And if you ask Clint Kubiak why he didn't do it this week, he said because he had the joint practice. So he didn't want those guys getting too beat up. So they just had the joint practice on Tuesday. You don't want them to take those hits, against it's pretty live, almost as live as you can get, and then come back on Thursday and play and take those hits again. So that's why he didn't do it this week. But then you get into a situation where if they don't play this preseason game, this next one, they'll go from the first preseason game, which was the 13th. They'll go from August 13th to September 9th without playing another opponent. Is that what you really want? Oh, well, I guess you could count the joint practice was 3 days ago. So from August 17th to September 9th. Like, is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I'm not saying they're a bad team. It's just that, like, it's the last preseason game, so they're not really going to put out anybody except, like, guys who are probably not going to make the team. That's what I'm trying to say is that last game is usually because and the NFL, I think, changed up the rules as far as the cut day. So this is going to be the last opportunity for the Raiders and a lot of teams to see players kind of like put in their last bid to see if they can make the football team.
Yeah.
So usually that last preseason game, you're not going to see starters just because they want to see the other players.
Oh, I'm sure September 9th is the opening of the season, so that's not even us. So we don't play it till the 13th. So it'll be basically
a month
basically a month from the 17th to the which was the joint practice was 17th, right? Yeah, 17th to the 13th, where we don't play a game.
Hey, man. So this year's Genty is gonna be Mendoza. You're gonna get ready to
bro
about Mendoza.
Has he not played up and down?
Yes.
So well, I'm trying to think of people's logic.
Yeah.
So do you expect him to play better in the regular season than he's playing? It's like, come on, people just be saying stuff to say stuff. That's my point.
No. Look. I can't speak for everybody else. For me, I expect the up and down play.
Yes,
I welcome it. I'm like, let's develop. The only thing that I'm concerned about is like, are you gonna get him killed? Because because the defense.
He's not a finished product. Like, I'm not saying this is what Mendoza's going to be forever. Like, oh, judging on the preseason, oh, Mendoza ain't never gonna be. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is right now, I'm not throwing him out there because he's an up and down quarterback at this moment, and I think that those ebbs and flows. First of all, there are veteran guys that came here that's not here to say, oh, I'm expecting to lose and I want to. Some of these guys still want to win. They're gonna lose it regardless. But that, like, it's the same argument people make against tanking is that, if you're throwing a rookie out there with the expectation that I'm just throwing him out there for the sole reason of developing him, that's going to rub veteran players the wrong way because they didn't come here to deal with the development of a player. They came here to try to win games.
That's true. That's
the argument.
You also have to understand where the football team is too.
Like facts.
Facts. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Facts.
Right when we brought that up, I thought you were gonna. I don't know if you seen this, but Mendoza before the game, did you see him like in the huddle, like trying to, like before the game, he was in the middle of the huddle. He was like talking to the team.
No, I didn't see it.
I don't know if you've seen it. I thought you was gonna bring that up because it did look like he was.
It was corny.
I don't know what was said. It was just like it was like a overview camera, and you could see like he was in the middle of like the team, and like he was just like you could tell like he was intense, like he was hyped up, and then everybody kind of put their hands up. I don't know if they were into it like that, but it didn't seem like.
I ain't gonna hold that against them because some people are like, I'm sure a lot of these guys. Well, for some of these guys, it's like it's a big opportunity, but I'm sure some of these other veteran guys that they kind of got their roster spot like that. They're like, I kind of want to be out here doing this, bro. Right. I kind of want to be out here doing this, but yeah, that's just the fact. I mean, I don't think like me. That's why I say I personally, if I'm trying to build toward the future, a lot of times I'm not caring about that, but I think organizations do take that into account. That's why organizations always say they're not going to purposely tank. But yeah, I'm not putting Mendoza out there, but like especially after seeing what I saw today, and it's not. And then like, look, I don't want to put this all on Mendoza because I said it before. I didn't know he wasn't. I know he wasn't, but when he first threw that interception, and I saw him on Max, I was like, "Is this nigga crying?" I noticed this nigga crying.
Yeah, for a second, it was like
for a second it looked like that. He wasn't
back to the sideline or whatever. But I'm sure he was probably like.
I'm talking about when Max was wiping his face, but it was just sweat. It was sweat in his face, eyes. And when you get sweat in your eyes get red and stuff like that. But I was like, "Is this dude crying?" But I was like, it wasn't that. But it just looked like
I'm
that.
Not, hey, look, for me, I just want to be clear. I want Mendoza out there, but also the caveat is like the Raiders have at least an average offensive line, or they feel like they can protect him, they can run the football, but then the only thing that I would say that would probably stop him in terms of like that would be like the defense obviously being really, if it's really tough early on, then it's like, man, and we know it's gonna be some growing pains early on. At the very least, it's gonna be some growing pains. So meaning that I know
I have a question for you. I just thought about this, and for disclosure, I was driving back. So my daughter had orientation at Cal State Northridge today, so I was like,
okay.
I was driving. Thank you, appreciate it. Now, I was watching the game, but I had my car on autopilot. But I had to make sure I paid attention because I don't want to be Kyle Shanahan. So I made sure I was paying attention to the road. So I was like looking back and forth. So some throws I might have missed. But I'm trying to think. At any point, did Mendoza push the ball downfield? So I know Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah.
Aiden O'Connell, his first.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Well, when
he did. So depending on what you mean by pushing out ball to downfield, but he had, if the one that was obvious, it was a clear, like, Kubiak called the play. It was like, I don't know if it was after, it was like second and 1. And
okay, yeah, I know exactly.
He overthrew Brendan Johnson. But it was, I know exactly. It was good coverage though. It was like a safety.
I remember that play now. Okay, yeah. That was one. It was second and 1. And I think we were on the.
Is that your definition of pushing out ball? Is
that's fine. That's fine. I just want to see him attempt a deep pass. It doesn't have to be like him like taking it on his own accord. Even if it was and a lot of times it's like that. Like they'll dial up a deep shot, and if it's not there, he can check it down. But he actually took the shot, and that's what teams usually do it on second and 1 because they know they've got a manageable third down. So now that's good. I just don't remember. But now that you said that play, that was a play.
But
that's good enough for me.
Let me ask you this though: what's your definition of pushing the ball down the field? Is it like 10 yards plus, 15 yards plus?
Yeah, it got to be like 15 plus is ideal. Like 15 is kind of intermediate part of the field, in my opinion. Anything over 15, I guess I would say was pushing the ball downfield. But 10 to 15 is like the intermediate area. Ideally, like 20 plus. But 15 plus, I'll say is pushing the ball downfield.
Okay, because I'm trying to think of that. Like early on, he hit Naylor. That was like that looked like it was like at least like 15. Yeah,
see, that's what I said. That was kind of intermediate though. That was kind of like a throw, like but between the linebackers and the safeties.
So 20 yards is pushing the ball downfield.
Yeah, I would say it's like 20 yards plus.
20 yards plus is pushing the ball downfield.
Yeah. And I want to say they count explosive plays as passes over 20 yards.
Right. But then there's there was another play that he had to Benson.
Geo Max is cold, bro. Cold.
There was another play to Benson. 80-yard reception. Yard interception, yeah. I mean,
that's another play.
Hey, how about that? There was a play to Benson, I believe. It was like I think it was on third down.
Yeah, the third and long.
Yeah,
that counts too. And that was a nice pass. That was a nice pass and a nice reception. That was a good play.
And then like if you looked at the flow of the game, you could tell like the rush was kind of getting there too. So you could tell like he was kind of getting rid of the ball. A few times he tried to stand in there. He took some hits in terms.
I think he took a hit on that play. I want to say.
Exactly. Which, to be honest with you, I like quarterbacks that do that. That can hang in there and make a tough pass and know that they're
for sure.
But
not for sure.
But yeah, that being said, hey, look, it's gonna be a tough season. We said it time and time again. My guy Hank Schrader says, what y'all think about? Oh, it's up. He shows up. Aiden, man.
I want him on the team, bro. Like I already said, I want him on the team. I think he's a serviceable backup. I wouldn't mind him being a long-term backup on this team. I don't think it'll happen. Some people don't even have him making this roster. I think he makes this roster. I think we carry 3, but there's a world where he does get cut. So, and that wouldn't like shock me.
Oh, get cut? I feel like they can get some value in a trade. Something. I
From
think
who? But you think, cause like I mean,
it would happen. It would happen now. It would happen
the Dolphins might. Low-key, look, the Dolphins. Did you see? I don't know what he did. Well, he hasn't played this week. Do you see Cam Miller? What he did his first preseason game?
Like Cam Miller, like this preseason.
Yeah.
Nah,
first preseason game with the Dolphins. I don't remember the exact stat line. I want to say he was 4 for 13 with 2 interceptions. I want to say it was that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
I want to say it was that. Don't quote me on that. But it was something. It was something horrible like that. He was for sure was like 4 for 13. I don't remember if it was 2 interceptions.
It was a Tom Brady special right there. That was a Tom Brady special.
Yeah, bro. That's on Spy Tech too, though, man.
Appreciate
Tommy Malott, all of that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody coming through at this point. Clack out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. We about to be heading out of here. Any like predictions, or should we wait until like last preseason game? I mean, I feel like we could say it now.
Predictions in terms of what?
In terms of like, all right, who's gonna be starting at certain positions, like second corner, right guard, any surprise cuts, things like that.
Surprise cuts.
Early season predictions in terms of
not a surprise for me, but Tommy Eichenberg up out of here, bro. You pack your bags. Pack your bags, bro.
You think he's gonna be one of the guys cut?
Pack your bags. You're gone. It was a pleasure. Now, I mean, he low-key recovered this week though. He wasn't great this week, but he had a much better week this week than last week. Not like we had I want to say it was like 4 for 13 with 2 picks. I want to say it was 2 picks. I don't remember if it was 4 for 13 or not.
I'm telling you, teams are always looking for.
That's what I'm saying, because Quinn Ewers was trash and Cam Miller was trash. So I could see them giving up something for Aiden, even if it's like a conditional 6th. I guess see something like that happening.
But if the Raiders keep all 3 QBs, I'm not mad at that either. But it's just I feel like they can get some value for AOC in the trade, especially if they're not going to really. And I think he wants to get traded too. So it's like for him to kind of like, ball out today in some ways to get that win and like play make some big time throws to win the game or whatever. That you're doing that on ESPN, so people are watching. Let's see here. Porter starts at cornerback. Chilray says Porter starts at cornerback. Roger starts at right guard.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I've been a guy that's just been on a Hezekiah Mass's bandwagon, but I think at this point Porter is going to be CP2. He's CP2.
So AOC gets traded, JPJ gets traded, or they keep JPJ until like the trade deadline and then trade him after that.
Bold prediction. So we doing for a year or just like for like going into the season?
It's possible going to the season, but I'm just saying like.
All right, so are we talking about bold predictions just for the year or just like just go or it's any? It don't matter.
It could be the year. It could be early season predictions. Like, you know what I mean? This is a good time to do it.
All right. Jack Best finishes the year with less than 400 receiving yards. I don't know how bold that is. He only had 224 last year.
Is that
Genty finishes the year with less than 1,100 rushing yards.
With less than 1,100 rushing yards?
Yep.
Nah, I think he gets more than that. I
know you do.
Yeah, I think it's more than that.
I know you do. That's why it's a bold prediction. Most people do. Most people think that.
Yeah, I think he gets more than 100 yards. But yeah, that is a bold prediction. I'm gonna say Brock Bowers is gonna finish with 1,500 yards receiving.
That's a good one.
Because looking at the receivers, like he's gonna get.
Yeah.
Man, the production is gonna be there. Especially because when you look at like, guys that played his position, like the tight end from the Cardinals, I think he had like 1,500 yards last year. Yeah, 16.
Trey McBride.
I think he had like somewhere around. And if you look at the
But they threw the
targets,
ball to Trey McBride like every
and
play.
guess what? Powers, he's gonna get the targets.
Yeah, he's gonna get the target every play.
He's gonna get at least 150 targets. Well, let's see. Yeah, he's gonna get some crazy amount of targets. So I'm gonna say Bowers gets about 100 plus receptions, 1,500 yards, about 8 plus touchdowns. At least 8 touchdowns this year. That's my bold prediction. 100 plus catches, 1,500 yards, 8 plus, at least 8 touchdowns. Salvatore says Mike Washington will get more rushing yards than Genty. Damn, that is hot take central. Mike Washington has more touchdowns than Amari and Hampton. That is crazy.
That's crazy. Mike Washington is RB2 and Hampton's RB1. Unless they're counting on Marion Hampton getting hurt. Yeah, I think Genty is going to less than 1,100 yards rushing.
Hampton's going to ball out in that Mike McDaniel offense.
He going to ball out, bro. He going to ball out. Herbert going to ball out too. Do you see the play where you saw Herbert make this throw? How giddy Mike McDaniel was?
I gotta see it. I gotta watch because I know they played the Niners in that preseason, so I'm gonna watch a little bit of that.
I think it was in joint practice. It was either in joint practice or just practice. But Mike, he was like,
did they play the starters today? I don't know if you.
I don't know. I didn't pay.
But you said it was in joint practice.
I think it was joint practice. It's in practice, joint practice, but it was just on Twitter. That's the only reason I saw it. I don't be following the Chargers, but it just came. But since I was looking up so much Mike McDaniel stuff when we were thinking about our head coach, like the Mike McDaniel stuff still populates in my feed. So I'll be getting all kind of Brian Flores stuff in my feed. Up to all kind of Michael Flores stuff in my feed, all that stuff in my feed from Twitter because of when I was looking up coaches this offseason. I think that's my one.
Chilray says Genty gets 1,200 yards, 500 receiving, so 1,700 total yards. That's pretty good. Bowers gets hurt again, finished 800 yards. Okay, this is your bold. Okay, Max gets traded. Mendoza starts halfway in the season due to Kirk injury.
Damn. I can see all of that. I'm hoping Bowers don't get hurt. I can see all of that happening except Genty. Everything else I can see happening. I can see Mendoza starting week 4 because of Kirk injury. To be honest with you, but I'm with you with everything, but the Genty.
Do you think they'll let's say Kirk Cousins plays terrible the first 3-4 games? Is that enough to put Mendoza in there?
Depends on what's the reason he's playing terrible.
Why is he playing terrible?
Depends on the reason. If he's playing terrible just because of him, then
he's throwing picks. He's if
it's his own play, then yeah. Then
you could tell the arm is just not there. You know what I mean? Players are just jumping, routes.
Yeah, if it's him, then they will. And that's why I struggle with me saying that Mendoza is not going to start this year because I got the Raiders going on a 9-game losing streak. I got them beating the Saints, and I don't think I got them winning another game. I got them beating the Dolphins, beating the Saints, and I don't got them winning another game until they play. I think they played the Cardinals first. Nah, they played Tennessee. First. I think Cardinals might be the second game. It's the last game. I don't think I got them winning another game until they play Tennessee.
Genty with 10 plus touchdown this season. Okay, GeoMix is that.
I can see that. I can see that though, because he had 10 last year though.
Well, GeoMix, is this 10 plus rushing touchdowns or just overall?
Yeah.
Let us know, man, if that's your prediction. Jalen Naylor. No one predicted Jalen Naylor. Will he get 1,000 yards receiving?
Nah, man. I told somebody that our receivers might not get 1,000 yards combined, bro. That's bad. That's how bad I feel about them. They might not get 1,000 yards.
Sheesh.
But I don't think you're getting 1,000 yards. I think Trey Tucker might eat more than Naylor. But see, I don't know. Trey Tucker his route running, bro. It's just, like I said, Naylor's more dependable as a route runner. That's why I brought. You see,
Tucker's more explosive.
Tucker's more explosive. And so I think Tucker has bigger playability.
Someone pointed this out, and this is specifically about the corners. And you remember against the Cardinals, you saw like McCoy kind of like struggling with the bigger receivers, right? And it's like when you look at the Raiders, they really don't have a lot of guys at high point, the ball like at wide receiver. So do you think that's part of their struggle? Is because they're not seeing that every day in practice?
That could be part of it, especially for a guy like him who hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah,
that could definitely be part of it. He'd definitely be part of it.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second, bro.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think some more bold predictions. I already said I got CN Sloan making the roster. I got Malcolm Kuntz 7.5 sacks. 7.5 sacks for Malcolm Kuntz. Eric Stokes will finish the year without any interceptions. Trying to think anything else I can go with. Oh, this right here. Isaiah Polamalu will have more interceptions than Trayden Stoops. Let me see. Trey Tucker, 1,000-yard receiving. Oof. If he does that, bro, power to him. I don't see it happening. That week 5 to 11 stretch is tough. Yeah, it is tough. Geomex says 10 plus rushing touchdowns and maybe 3 receiving. 10 plus rushing touchdowns. You think about it, bro, he had 10 touchdowns last year. 3 of them I want to say was in the Bears game. And I want to say 2 of them were in the Texans game. So it means half of his touchdowns on the year came in 2 games. So, and he only, ironically, those are the 2 games he had over 100 yards too, right? So everybody wants to point to, that's another thing everybody does with Genty. They point to, see what Genty did against the Texans. See what he saw what did that Texas defense. I think he finished that game with 128 rushing yards. But 51 of those rushing yards came on the one big play. Then he ran the ball 24 times for 128 yards. So 51 came on that one big play. So that means the other 23 rushes he had 70-something yards. Like 77 yards. So that means he averaged like 3.2, 3.3 yards per carry, if I'm doing the math right. Like something in that range on the rest of those carries. But did he have the one big play? But which is good. You want to take away from that because that's not exactly how Darren McFadden was, but it's kind of how Darren McFadden was, where he wouldn't do a lot, wouldn't produce a lot, but then he'll have a big play. But the thing is that like with Darren McFadden, you will see like consistent big plays. You'll see like Darren McFadden might get a 2-yard gain, maybe a no gain, maybe a 1-yard loss, and he hit you for 20 yards. And then he'll do the same thing, and they'll hit you for 40 or hit you for a touchdown. But you will get multiple big plays in the game. With Genty, it's like you get one big. That game he had 2. He had the big reception, and he had the big run. But not a lot of big runs. Like the 2 games he got win over 100 yards were the 2 games where he had long touchdown runs.
Who has more sacks, Malcolm Kuntz or Pay and Crawford combined?
Malcolm Kuntz. Not even close, bro. It's not even close, bro. Crawford ain't gonna get us. Crawford might not get a sack, bro, all year. I would not be surprised if Crawford don't get a sack all year. And Pay is not really. Pay got like 2 sacks last year.
Damn, he got paid a lot of money, and he's not really. He's not a guy that's like a pass rusher. It seems like, but we'll see. We'll see because the Raiders are doing kind of interesting things. It seems like at practice. Forgot who was watching someone saying that was at training camp saying that the Raiders like during practice they had the D line like way far away from everybody's field of view. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be doing some interesting things and moving guys around. I've heard Woody Pay is a guy that they moved around inside. So in certain situations, they might move inside to create some different looks.
Yeah, rush from 3 tech,
and the Raiders
won't make a difference.
The Raiders are gonna blitz a little bit more regular season. You know what I mean? Hey, they're gonna blitz a little bit more, so that might create some opportunities, one-on-one opportunities, especially.
Stooks looks solid doing it. Stooks look pretty solid doing it. Merrick was pretty good. Remember Nate Hobbs was real good at it. Mm-hmm. Nate Hobbs was hella good as a blitzer. Merrick was pretty good too. Merrick actually did pretty good, and Stooks looked pretty good a few times. He was able to do it today too. So that's something I didn't really see in his bag a lot when he was at Arizona, but that he looked good. He looked comfortable too.
Yeah, I think the red zone will be relying heavy on Genty. Mike Shanahan relied heavy on Terrell Davis. Red zone scheme is familiar. Okay. So did he say Russian? Geomix? I don't know if he said that. Oh yeah, okay, you said that.
He did. He said yeah.
So 10 plus rushing touchdowns, maybe 3 receiving. So 13. Okay.
All right. I think Genty will be more reliable.
That's disgusting.
Oh, look, that's a strong possibility. You think about it, bro. I just told you, especially if your prediction holds true and Brock goes for 1,500 plus, bro. If Brock goes for 1,500 plus, do you expect us to throw for over 4,000 yards as a team? Because you feel me?
Yeah.
Like, so if he goes for 1,500 plus, it's like I said, just with Seattle. Like,
oh, you know what? This is a bold prediction. Genty would be the second leading receiver.
Oh, that'd be disgusting.
In terms of yards.
That'd be disgusting. That would be disgusting, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you.
But look, it could happen. It could happen. That's what's so bad. It could, like, that's a realistic thought. It could actually happen.
You know what? That's really.
I think Mayer. Probably Naylor get him.
Because Tucker had like 600 yards last year.
Yeah, 700.
Oh, he said 700. Yeah, but he's had 600 before that. I believe that was like his previous career high. Was like.
Maybe I know we have 2 guys that have had over 700 yards receiving on our team, and it's Trey Tucker and Philip Dorsett. 2 receivers rather.
And Philip Dorsett is just a can body.
Yeah, it's for sure just a can body. He's just a veteran mentor because the wide receiver room is so young. That's part of the reason why we brought in Noah Brown, because Noah Brown can actually make the team, and there's kind of no need for Philip Dorsett after that.
So he had 696 last year. 539 in 2024.
Yeah. Oh, he only had 696 last year?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically 700.
No, but I thought there was a stat that said we had guys that had over 700, and it was only 2, and it was him and Philip Dorsett.
Nah, he had 696. This Pro Football Reference.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But he's increasing yards every year. You know, hopefully.
So we've only had one receiver that's gone over 700 yards, and that's Philip Dorsett. That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
That is disgusting and insane and disgusting.
GMX Raiders offense will finish top 15. Damn. Nah, I can't. Oh no.
Hey, look, he did. We look, GMX. We said bold, brother. We did say bold. I ain't mad at you.
Number 2 receiver in rush for over 1,200 yards. That's what I'm saying. But we'll see.
We said bold, not insane. All right. So we said.
Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through at this point. Clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Obviously, this is a post-game reaction show of the preseason game that just happened earlier. If you guys watching the replay, it was the Raiders, obviously, against the Texans. Next week will be the Raiders and 49ers. We'll be back next week on the 50-50 show. We appreciate everybody coming through. Severe, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
Man, you guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, X, IG, Kick, Twitch, True Social. Holla at your boy, man. Tuesdays and Thursdays in 50-50 show and Around the Shield. My dog PharoahNFL. Wednesdays and Sundays in the Raider Row Room with Christian Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. And coming soon, we got a big announcement. Big announcement for Around the Shield, for the future of Around the Shield. A lot of people have been reaching out to me about this. And you know, we will reveal it all next week. Some big changes, some changes I know people are going to love. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have more guests too as well on Around the Shield. That's always our goal, is get people on so we can get different perspectives and obviously have that conversation. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Hey, there were hey, look, it's not all bad. I mean, we try to keep it to we didn't want to be 100% negative, because we could have easily just came here like, it's gonna be a long season, it's disgusting, man. But we did focus on some positives. There's some things that we're still waiting on. It's not the end of the world. Obviously we won't really know what this team is until like after the week 4, week 5. Then you could just tell, all right, this is the type of team they are, or whatever. But sometimes the writing can be on the wall. But hey, look, we'll be here to talk about it. But any last thoughts, Severe, before we head out?
Nah, man, you know, this is time for Fernando Mendoza to gather himself, lick his wounds, watch the film, as I'm sure he's gonna do, learn from his mistakes. He had a really, really solid, good debut. Came back to earth a little bit this week, but next week is another opportunity for him to kind of show why he was a number 1 overall pick, continue to improve and work on his game, and see if he can make that final push for a starting spot. I don't think it's happening, but make that push.
Let's say if he does pulls a Derek Carr and just starts just serving that last game, it'll be hella funny if he starts week 1.
He'd have to go crazy. He'd have to go crazy.
Yeah, he would have to go crazy.
Yeah. Cousins can't play, or Cousins have to go out there and look bad, and then Fernando would have to go crazy.
Because I don't think Clint Kubiak is excited about Cousins. I don't think he's just overly sold on him.
I don't think Clint Kubiak is excited about anything. Just in general.
Yeah, he does have that vibe too. He's just hella chill. But I know after the game, man, he was over here high-fiving the whole team and stuff. He seemed pretty excited.
That was that's one of those things. Get the cameras on. All right, let's go. Hey guys, woo! Yeah, good win, fellas. Woo woo! It's good done. All right, cool. All right, let's get back to my office.
For real. Hey, we'll see y'all next week on the 50-50 show, man. All right, y'all. Peace.